This is Comic Geeks Speak episode 1845 Previews. Welcome to the show. I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Ian Levinstein.
And I'm Shane Kelly.
Oh, you took that "and" like a pro, Shane.
And I'm looking here. I see all of my frames are like, I have to go straighten them out. I'm in a Batman villain setting.
Oh, right. It's you're doing the Dutch tilt.
Yeah.
Slightly askew. Just slightly askew.
Just a bit outside.
Yep. And speaking of Batman villains, we'll have something to talk about in the Comic Talk because they dropped a deleted scene today. And
really?
Yep. The full deleted scene of the Joker Batman scene that was cut from the movie.
Yeah. I'll have to go check that out somewhere.
All available on YouTube on the official channel and everything. So
nice. Wow.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Fancy.
But meanwhile, this ain't no Comic Talk. This is a previews. And we are close to the end of the month here. Apologies for it stacking up for any of you who have already either put your orders in or made your decisions. Well, tough noogies, you get to make more decisions tonight as we cover issue 402 of previews. The whatever Marvel's calling this one, I give up. And
Marvelous Machinations issue
number
12.
6 is the number I see on the cover here.
I think so.
March for May.
Yep, yeah, number 6. There you go. And issue 22 of DC Connect. The PDF that I have of the Marvel previews doesn't even have a cover. It just goes directly in it. So so it goes. So it goes.
Gosh, I thought you said in snow it goes.
Exactly. Nobody cares. It's just previews. That's it. Well, before we get into the thick of it, the usual reminder that you, our fans, are awesome, and those who donate are super duper awesome. Over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. We thank you so much for your months and months of support. All you newbies, welcome. All you long timers, welcome times like 12, 1,000, like how many times you've been there. And you keep the lights on for the studio along with on the internets, and you keep these episodes churning with your support. So we thank you so much for that continued support at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. If for some reason you are not a Patreon person and still want to donate to the show, you can do so over at comicgeekspeak.com/donate.php. And then if you can't even give us a penny, that is perfectly good. You can give us a pound of reviews.
I was just going to say in for a penny, in for a pound.
Exactly. At iTunes or Spotify or any other place that you happen to get your downloads, or tell a friend, tell a friend's friend, tell a friend of a friend of a friend. It doesn't matter. Spread the word, the joy, and the love of comics. That was pretty good.
We have joy, we have fun, we have. I shouldn't sing that.
Hey! If I get Shane singing
in the sun.
There you go. Both you guys singing is better than me singing, so that's always a bonus. All right, we begin with previews, and the hand begins us all.
Mm-hmm.
From the Eisner-winning team behind Gideon Falls comes an all-new shared horror universe. The Passageway. And we'll get to that later on. What was the back cover? Shaolin Cowboy. Nice.
Any new material from Jeff Darrow is welcome, as far as I'm concerned.
Indeed. I'm just happy when both the front and back cover are comic book related.
Yeah.
Amen. Heck, even the spine is comic related. It's plugging Frazetta's Death Dealer.
There you go. Nice. Okay, as we scroll into here.
Scroll.
A reminder that on May 7th is Free Comic Book Day. So once again, if you have not gotten in your free comics, they do list a whole bunch of them here. We won't go over that because we did it a couple of months ago. However, we will mention that Marvel has revealed what theirs is going to be, and it is Spider-Man / Venom #1, which will include a Zeb Wells and John Romita Jr. Amazing Spider-Man story, including Tombstone, leading into the beginning of their illustrious arc on Amazing Spider-Man. So any of you who have not added that to your order, you may want to do that because that sounds damn good.
And DC has finally announced their participation in FCBD. We'll get to that when we get to the DC Connect section of our program.
Excellent. Yep. Excellent. Well, Image is nice enough to actually start us off with the front cover on page 40.
How about that?
Yep. And Bone Orchard, The Passageway. Again, Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino give us an advanced solicit here of a new this is original graphic novel hardcover of their new horror universe. When a geologist is sent to a remote lighthouse to investigate strange phenomena. I
was just gonna do that too. Damn it. Phenomena.
That's Muppets Tonight. I mean, Shane, you. I thought you weren't aware of Muppets Tonight's existence, and yet you somehow saw that bit.
No. I just always associate that in my head. I can't say that I ever saw that episode. I have them on a VCD of all things that somebody had given me 15 years ago. So I have watched some of them now, but I don't recall that. I just hear that, and it just in my head meets the tempo.
Well, yeah, the Muppets did actually turn it into a bit, and Sandra Bullock was the guest star. So.
Nice.
Look out for it.
Yep. And speaking of which, put Muppets Tonight on Disney Plus already.
Oh, you're not kidding.
Come on.
Hear.
Yep. You already put the Muppet Show on there. It doesn't take much more effort to put the Muppets
Nope.
Tonight. Yep. But nevertheless, we're back to the solicit here, where he finds a seemingly endless pit in the rocks. What lurks within, and how will he escape its pull? Good question.
I'm thinking he doesn't.
I mean, maybe he might partially, but yeah, probably not.
An original graphic novel, page 2. Yep, he got out.
The end.
Yep. And the rest is just 94 pages of ads for
360-degree view.
Exactly.
Here's where he is.
94 pages for other Jeff Lemire content. That's all it's going to be. But look at how gorgeously Andrea Sorrentino draws facial expressions. It's always been a strong suit, and it's not even like they're hyper realistic faces, but I just love the posing of it all, and it works wonderfully here.
Is that Cape Hatteras or just some random lighthouse?
It's a good question, actually. Kind of looks like it, but
yeah, Barnegat's red and white. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, they're calling it Bone Orchard, so I mean, it's probably maybe it's based on that, but it's its own place. Yeah, but good stuff.
Love lighthouses.
Page 40 is that solicit, and following pages until page 43, and then on we go to a new Charles Soule 8-issue mini called 8 Billion Genies on page 44. If you had one wish, what would you wish for? Now, what if everyone else had one wish too? That's 8 Billion Genies, the new 8-issue series from Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. At exactly the same moment, everyone on Earth gets a genie and one wish. I'm assuming they can't wish for unlimited wishes.
I'm just gonna say, I was thinking that'd be my wish. More wishes.
Seems like it's out of bounds. Yes.
Yeah.
But
what's your one wish? I'd like 2 more.
Yeah, there's a few sample pages here. It looks like a whole host of fifth-dimensional imps are descending upon Earth, and there's one for every human being, and the imps are like friendly little cartoony beings, and they say to each person that they encounter, your intention will be reflected in how your wish is fulfilled. So, okay, no ironic warping of intent here. So that's nice. But just the mere fact that all 8 billion people on Earth are going to get a wish granted. I mean, clearly the creators here, Charles Soule and Ryan Brown, these gentlemen watched Wonder Woman 84 and realized just what kind of chaos would be unleashed.
Yeah.
The whole wish stone concept were treated with a little more attention and detail.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided that could be a story in itself, and they're going to take 8 issues exploring what the full dire, nigh-apocalyptic ramifications would be if everyone on Earth got a wish to make.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I don't trust fifth dimensional imps. I've read enough Mixie X Pitalax stories where that's bound to be bad for everybody.
Yep, that's not going to end so well.
No, but a very cool concept, and I can't wait to see how horribly it goes.
I'm trying to figure out in the middle of their face, is that their mouth?
I mean,
it appears to be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's that their mouth is like right between their eyeballs.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've got kind of those like mustache and beard things going on underneath it.
Okay.
Yep.
A couple of them have eyeglasses.
Indeed.
Very interesting.
Maybe those are the elder statesmen.
Yeah.
Page 48. Long time
Scotty Young,
friend of podcasters abound, Mr. Scotty Young, twig number 1 of 5. It's Scotty and Kyle Strahm on the artwork, and another twist in a fairy tale-esque world here, as it's Twig's first day on the job as a journeyer on a Jeff Smith's Bone-esque quest to save the Dark Crystal / Labyrinth style world. When they add the descriptions into the actual flavor text, you know what they're going for. And
yeah,
that's definitely what we have here.
Yep, the character designs definitely look Henson. So anyone who is a fan of 80s Henson productions.
Well, I was thinking on the cover there, I'm sure it's a mountain or something behind, but it sort of looks like the trash heap too. But it I'm sure it's a hill, mountain,
whatever. And the hill has eyes and a mouth from the looks.
Yeah.
Of it. Pretty cool. Digging the artwork in general. The very, very luscious colors to go.
Yeah.
Pardon the phrasing here, but page 52. Kyle Starks and F this place. I think you know what's after the word F, but we're gonna try to
fill in
keep
the
it
blanks.
fan friendly here. Yeah. They say it's for fans of Gideon Falls and Homesick Pilots.
Okay.
After inheriting a farmhouse, Trudy and Gabby are ready to start the next chapter of their lives together, except it's already home to a mysterious force that's attracted ghosts, aliens, and all type of supernatural beings for decades. Now Gabby and Trudy must play by the house rules in order to survive living among the most frightening creatures on Earth in this brand new series. Yep. Skybound production here, and a lot of horror out of Image this month.
Yeah.
Yep. Creepy ass house. All right. How about the rest of the Image here? Anything else of note?
That art looks nice.
Oh yeah. You mean for
yeah,
natural
blue blood.
Yep. Mirka and Dalfo is the writer, and the artist is Ivan Bigarella, and it's the return of Unnatural. 3 years after Mirka Adolfo's first Unnatural series, this is the return to the adventure of a few years after the previous events. Leslie saved the world from hidden dangers. Everything seems to be working out, and not just for Leslie and her newly formed family, but for the rest of the world as well. But appearances can be deceiving, and I think they will be.
Yeah.
Yep. Cat girls everywhere. All the cat girls.
Makes me think of Black Sod a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I missed that. It's been a while since one has come out that I've noticed.
You will appreciate the Dark Horse section of the catalog then, Shane.
Indeed.
Good news awaits.
Aha.
Yes.
Page 59, Frontiersman Lockup Special. Patrick Kindlin on the writing and Nicolo Assarelli on the artwork. And I've been on a frontiersman kick over the past couple of weeks, and it's this was a good surprise, frontiersman. Anyone who's a fan of kind of like a Dark Knight Returns bint, only with a Green Arrow-esque character, that's what you'll find with frontiersman. And this one shot gets the series back on track, as it hasn't really come out since I think January, and it was supposed to be an ongoing. So this is going to kind of fill the gap of that, and then they'll go back to being an ongoing afterwards. But
nice.
Yeah, Frontiersman Lockup Special one shot on page 59. And I'll just fill the role of Chris not being here by saying Stillwater by Zdarsky. Page 60, issue 13. Got a original graphic novel by Jerry Duggan of X-Men and Deadpool, and he's been having a kind of like almost like a renaissance over the last couple of years as he entered the world of comics, and has definitely been making his home here. And The Dark Room is his original graphic novel, as the hunt for a camera containing an undeveloped photo of the face of true evil threatens to wipe out New York City one chilly autumn evening. Almost like a Ghostbusters pitch right there from Jerry. And the artwork by Scott Buoncristiano and Tamra Bonvillain. Again, one of my favorite names in comics, just by the name alone. Looks damn good on the following page.
Yeah.
Yep.
Featuring the breakout supporting character Walt the Beat Boy Skeleton.
I am all for that.
Me too. The only thing I'm not for is the hardcover presentation.
Fair enough, and hopefully a trade paperback will be forthcoming. Although $20 for the hardcover, so
that's not bad.
It's not too bad, no. But paperback would be even cheaper, so I'll just hold out for that.
I'm sure it'll be to come.
Oh, yeah. And then on page 64, we've got something new from the Age of Bronze creative team, doing a straight-up adaptation of an ancient Greek drama by Euripides, Iphigenia in Aulis. So this is written by Edward Einhorn, with art by Einhorn's previous collaborator on certain Oz projects, and the regular writer and artist of the Age of Bronze series, Eric Shanower, one of my favorite creators.
Excellent.
And it's basically just it's the stage play, the dialogue and directions for the actual drama, plus some spot illustrations by Shanower.
Excellent. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Once upon a time, I used to collect scripts when I get the Suncoast Video and see one that interests me.
Yeah, I always appreciate when there's artwork in these sort of scripts, as well as it kind of like creates the mood. And this looks like it most definitely does that in many different ways. So if you're interested, it's on page 64. And then King of Spies, its first 4 issues in trade are out now. I did really dig the first issue, so I may very well wind up getting this trade myself, as this is Mark Miller's take on a Bond that finds out he only has a few more months left to live, and what does the spy of spies do when that happens? He kicks some major ass because he knows that he won't have ramifications, and that's essentially what this entire series is like. And I still say it looks the most like Pierce Brosnan's Bond today, because it looks like an old Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, I could see that. I could go for that.
Yep, but that first issue really had me. So I'm wondering just how much the following 3 issues will have me on page 6. Yep. Pulp, the Process Edition, on page 69. Again, if Chris was here, I'm sure he'd be pointing it out. But any of you who have not read Pulp before, this is a brand new edition of a beautifully designed hardcover with everything a collector would want, including the full graphic novel itself, reproduced for the first time in a stunning, oversized format. So essentially absolute pulp. That's what you're getting here with Brubaker and Phillips on page 69.
Yep, lots of script pages and breakdown illustrations. It's designed to show the process in which Brubaker and Phillips work as they create their mutual masterpieces. It's,
Yep.
for the interested fan.
Absolutely. And then on the very next page, this is something I was hoping that they were going to give its own collection. As when they were putting out those Image specials as part of the Image anniversary, they, as part of that, was this Rick Grimes 2000. Beyond the Walking Dead, Rick Grimes 2000. This is in an issue of Walking Dead, there was a throwaway where we find out that the zombies were caused by aliens. And then, that's where they leave it. It's almost like a what if type of scenario. And this is that what if world brought to life by not just Robert Kirkman, but Ryan Ottley. And you have me at Ottley, like Nuff said, because Kirkman and Ottley being back together, I'm all down for that. So that's the Invincible team, and I want more from them. And this seems like a very fascinating what if concept on The Walking Dead on page 70. Plus the fact that it's called Rick Grimes 2000. Everything's extreme in the year 2000.
Yeah.
Of course. That's the way I remember it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah, don't remind me.
22 years ago.
Volume 2 of Crossover on page 72. So we got another 6 issues of action out of that. Issues 7 through 13. If you've been following Crossover, you got yourself a second volume. And then on the individual issues, I'm just going to scroll straight down the Saga. I finally got it. I got issue 56, and now I'm going to try to track down issue 55, which has been incredibly annoying to find because a lot of shops didn't order enough, and it sold out very quickly. And I still don't have it. But this is Saga issue 59, solicited on page 90. And what the hell does this fish have to do with the people who want Hazel dead? I want to know that answer.
I'm sure we'll have a fine old time finding out together.
Now, how the heck do you not order enough of an issue for that?
You'd be surprised in this day and age.
Wow.
It's been a while. A
Yeah.
lot of shop owners probably assume that it doesn't have the same heat that it once did.
Yeah.
Okay.
I unfortunately found out the hard way that my local shop only really orders a few issues of everything just because of where it is. And like, if you don't pre-order, then you're probably not going to get it.
Yeah.
So that was unfortunately the case with this. As I walked in the first day that it came out, and I was like, hey, do you have issue 55? And they said, no, we only had a few for pre-orders. And I told these guys to order more. The guy behind the counter said to his coworker,
Yeah.
do it. But so it goes to eBay for that one, more than likely for me.
And so it goes, and so it goes.
Could I ask you to scroll back to page 88 real quick, Ian?
Oh, of course.
Just a quick note for fans and followers of the Radiant Black series from writer Kyle Higgins.
Yep.
Those of you who are fans of Mr. Higgins' earlier work, there's a hint here in Radiant Black number 15 that the Radiant Black series actually takes place in the same world as one of Higgins' earlier works for Image, Cowl.
Oh, wow.
Yes, which I know Chris and I enjoyed quite a bit. It had kind of a retro 60s like Shield flavor to it, like as a superhero agency. And so one of those characters seems to be making a guest appearance in Radiant Black number 15. So.
Very cool. All right. Good for Kyle, piecing everything he does together. All right, I think that's all for Image, and on we go to Dark Horse. Beginning with Pearl 3, number 1 of 6 by Bendis and Gatos. Bendis and Gatos, enough said, page 98. The creators of Alias back together for more as a brand new chapter in their Pearl saga begins here. Another 6 issues. The first 2 volumes, I believe, are available as well. But this is always nice to see Bendis and Gaydos back together in one form or another, and they are on page 58.
And if you prefer early Bendis, before he became a big two sellout, on page 99 you got Jinx. It's a collection of a crime noir thing that he did for Caliber Press way back in the 90s. It's written and drawn by Bendis. It's in glorious black and white. And it's 484 pages, $24.99, coming out from Dark Horse this month.
It's so funny that I forget he can draw on a regular basis.
Yeah, I forgot that as well.
It's like the one time where I think it was in I think it was in a Secret Origins over at DC, where I saw a Jeff Johns drawn figure in I think it maybe one of the Teen Titans ones, and I just kind of smacked my head and I'm like, he can draw too. Well, I think at one point Jeff Johns said, I can draw but just barely.
Years and years ago when he was on Flash, and I want to say what did he cover? Flash 200 at that time?
I think so, yeah.
Right around that storyline, me and Jamie of Earth 2 were having a nice email conversation with him about Flash and all stuff going on. It was kind of cool.
Nice. Very cool. Another Shaolin Cowboy action. The back cover represented here on page 100. The Shaolin Cowboy, Cruel to be Kind by Jeff Darrow, as previously stated, and with a cover by the one and only Dave Stewart. And Darrow obviously writes and draws this in Phase 4 of the SCU. The Shaolin Cowboy finds his parenting skills being tested when he's forced to homeschool during a pandemic of unparalleled violence. Okay, wait a minute. In this story torn from yesterday's viral Twitter feeds.
We don't have to read it. We've lived it.
Oh, you better.
Yeah, but you didn't have Gila monsters in your version.
That's true. That's true. I just sat in my comic room and played games with the kids.
You don't know this, Murd. I mean, you don't know if Gila monsters were involved in our life. Okay, maybe they weren't.
That's true. I don't know everyone's struggle. It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
But whatever is happening here, it's Jeff Darrow writing and drawing it, and it's going to look awesome. And this is the fourth one of these Shaolin Cowboy miniseries he's done, and I'm going to buy this one too.
Indeed. And yep, those sure are some Gila monsters.
Indeed.
Now for the art fans out there, page 1.
I still have to finish that series on Disney.
Mm-hmm. Same here, actually. I never even started it, and I'm surprised. But then again, I haven't even finished Book of Boba Fett yet. So got to get on that. The Art of Star Wars Visions hardcover and hardcover deluxe edition.
Wow.
Has all the amazing artwork from that Star Wars Visions collection of shorts. Yep. All here for you on display, and it looks like a beauty.
Star Wars Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Still my favorite. I mean, I loved Clone Wars and I liked Bad Batch, but boy, I really loved the journey that the Rebels show took.
Yeah, I think I got 2 seasons into that, so I still need to finish as well.
First season's rough, as most series can have a very rough first season, but boy, oh boy, I really loved where they went with that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people weren't expecting it to go into as much lore as it did.
No, not at all.
Now, was this you mentioned that the first season was rough. Was the first season spent in some space station on a water planet someplace?
No, that was there was a few episodes of the Bad Batch that were on, gosh, I forget the planet's name, with the cloners, and then they revisit that towards the end of that series, Camino. But Rebels really takes place on a planet similar in the Empire's etymology for Tatooine, I guess, a little bit more in the realm where they were taking over parts of the planet and trying to make it a base and do different things. And the first season really stuck close to that planet. And then they started to reach out a little bit more as the seasons went on and really tie into the lore of Star Wars.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of that, and it was clearly just planted on that station or base or whatever it was, and I just
Yeah.
it didn't seem like it was going anywhere, so I dropped off. I'm glad to hear that it
Oh,
improved.
it gets so much better. They do so many interesting. To me, they did a lot of interesting things and really interlaced a lot of characters that I did not expect to see, and not necessarily forcing them in. They made sense for why they were there. A little bit convenient in some cases, but it's Star Wars. I think that happens regardless.
Oh, of course.
In my mind, but I really did enjoy it. I thought it was spectacular till the end.
But not quite the type of convenience of like, wow, Jar Jar Binks, how did you get on this planet? Like it's not.
Yeah,
it's not quite as overt as that, but they do tie in definitely some things you were not expecting them to tie in.
Yeah, I think, well, spoil like the 4th episode or something, R2 and 3PO show up. That's probably the most convenient, just kind of thrown in there. But all the other characters they counter through the series, it makes a lot more sense why they're there.
Yep. And this trade paperback on page 103 collects Star Wars Rebels magazine, issues 1 through 35, issue 37, 39, and Star Wars Rebels animation magazine number 1 through 4. And
nice.
I will point out, Dark Horse, Star Wars.
Yeah.
So this is something that very few people were expecting to see again in any form, and now here we are with a trade paperback, licensed by Disney, back with Dark Horse, with Star Wars.
I'm very happy for them.
Indeed. And then a reminder of a movie that has taken 85 years to have a sequel. It has been exactly 85 years, trust me, on this one. Avatar: Adapt or Die, number 1 of 6, from the world of James Cameron's 85-year-old Avatar movie. We're getting the sequel finally, apparently next year, and a trailer will be coming, possibly attached to Doctor Strange from the Scuttlebutt Online. But this is a 6-issue mini in that world, written by Corinna Becco and artwork by Benny R. Lobel.
Still haven't watched the first one.
Well, it's dances with Fern Gully, and you should enjoy that for what it is. Like,
you've had 85 years to watch it, Shane. What the heck?
I don't know. It's just taking me a while to get through my queue.
Oh man, page 104 for that one too. I part of me feels like Disney didn't know that they were going to wind up with Avatar when they built that Avatar land in Animal Kingdom. But I guarantee you that the Fox purchase, even though they were clearly doing it for specific reasons on the Marvel side, like actually owning Avatar was a super added bonus, because now they didn't have to worry about licensing or anything like that.
Yep.
Now it's just in their wheelhouse. There you go. And then the return of the Dwanch.
Nice.
Page 105, Jenny 02 begins the 4-issue miniseries continuing the adventures of Jenny Zero that Dave plugged on a previews episode himself about a year or so ago. And now, we get the continuation of her story here, and hopefully there'll be a lot more to come after that.
Yep. She's a legacy character. She's the daughter of a famous kaiju fighter who has become a kaiju fighter herself, despite her somewhat dysfunctional, problem-drinking personality and the fact that she's genetically part kaiju herself. So, good old rough and tumble fun from the mind of Dave Dwanch.
Yep. And if you want to listen to Dave talk about it, you can do so on episode 1801 of Comic Geeks Speak back on February 18th, 2021. It was the previous episode, and we talk about it kind of all the way throughout. But he was also just an awesome guest to have on that particular previews, and can't wait to have him back on the show.
Oh, he's so much fun. I haven't seen him in quite a few years. I loved hanging out with him.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
He is a great guy.
Yep. Spent almost an entire day at New York Comic Con behind his table once, and just
nice
shooting the shit and catching up. It was good times.
Non-stop laugh parade, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Harrow County returns for a little bit more on page 106. Tales from Harrow County, Lost Ones, issue 1 of 4. We've got Cullen Bunn and Emily Schnall on the writing and artwork. So if you're a fan of Harrow County, this is a good side story adventure for you to check out on page 106. I feel like this deserves a mention just from the awesome cover. Page 110, Astonishing Times. Frank J. Barbiere and Aris Quinones are the team of writers, while Ruari Coleman is the artwork here. In a world, wherever they start with it, in a world, that immediately makes me happy. In a world.
Yeah, in a world
where superheroes are commonplace. Noah Sands, a young reporter trying to live up to the legacy of his father, investigates a mystery involving missing superheroes that quickly turned into a thrilling conspiracy. This collects the first 5 issues of that Astonishing Times into a trade paperback on page 110. Anything else in Dark Horse?
Go back.
Here we are. Black
Wow.
There he is.
As foreshadowed, here it is.
Goodness.
Yep. Gee, I feel like they haven't done Black Sad in a while, right, Shane?
Wow. Yeah, it's been a couple years since I've seen a volume come out.
Well, here we are with a brand new one in gorgeous hardcover as well.
Awesome.
They All Fall Down Part 1. Juan Diaz Canales and Juanjo John. Never mind.
Got a need though.
Thank you, Murd, for saving me. Please.
I got to go update my order. I missed that first pass around.
Yep, page 115. As we are on the streets of New York City in the 1950s, but it's cats.
Awesome.
As iFanboy put it, it ranks among the very best cartooning I've ever seen in comics. And they're far from the only people who have said that over the years.
Think of it as Zootopia Noir.
There you go. Page 115 for that one.
Wow, $11.99. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, not bad. And after, discounts and what have you, probably get it for under 10.
Well, that the discount's the $11.99.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Fair
awesome though.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right, I think that's it for Dark Horse, unless there's anything else of note to point out, gents.
I got something on page 119.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a collection of classic series that came out from Eclipse back in the 80s, written by Doug Monk, with art by various, including Michael Hernandez. The Complete Aztec Ace. The story of a time-traveling pilot who splits his time between the ancient Aztec Empire and the 23rd century, whose arch nemesis is a cosmic crocodile of some sort, apparently. This is not a series I've ever read, but I trust Doug Monk implicitly, and I'd probably give this a try. It's the complete collection of the series, collecting all images that came out through Eclipse, 15 in total.
Wow.
Only problem is it is a hardcover, and it retails at $80. So
Yeah.
I'll certainly be waiting on that, but it deserves a mention that it's probably worthy material being made available again thanks to Dark Horse.
Mm-hmm. Most definitely, yeah. Certainly seems weird enough. with the tried and true comic book tale of Man Out of Time. And Criminal Macabre has a new trade paperback for all you Steve Niles fans on page 122. I'll mention that in passing as well. Brand new original graphic novel by Niles himself. Oh, wow. Hey, Mob Psycho 100, Volume 9. I'll just mention
disguising himself as a snowman, but we are not fooled for an instant, are we?
Surprise! Nobody. Yeah, this is I will only mention Mob Psycho on page 127 because of the fact that we'll be mentioning him later on, just in passing as you scroll into the manga section. But it's supposed to be an excellent series. I just haven't actually gotten to it yet, and it's by the creator of One Punch Man. So it's bound to be good. And on that note, over to DC. And they advertise Milestone on the cover. We will get there shortly. As the Shadow War concludes here with Shadow War Omega, Joshua Williamson. As, Deathstroke takes on Batman and his various crew. Page 3.
I have no idea what this story is supposed to be about. But,
Nope.
The first time I've shown so much as a glimpse interest in it was when I, just a moment ago, laid eyes on the cover to Batman number 123 on page 1, which appears to show Batman and Robin teaming up with Prometheus.
Yes.
From Morrison's JLA.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was tempted to add it just because of that, but I refrained for now. I'll read it. I'll read it on the app.
Good.
But I was very tempted when I saw that.
All right, good willpower there, Shane.
I continue to just be happy to have the yellow logo back on Batman's chest. You know, I dig him without it, but I dig him so much with.
Completely agree.
Yep.
But he seems to adopt that again whenever he's active with Batman Incorporated, and I know that Batman Inc. is a part of this story from what I'm reading here in the solicits.
Yeah, good point. And the piping on the costume almost looks like it's returning to the Capullo costume that Greg Capullo gave him shortly after near the end of his conclusion of being on the Batman title. All right. Well, after we get done with all that Shadow War action, here we are with Batman Fortress #1. Gary Whitta, usually known for his writing in other forms, such as Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and Derek Robertson coming together for a Batman story. This has me incredibly interested and intrigued. When an unknown alien ship enters Earth's atmosphere, disrupting global power and communication and plunging the planet into chaos, the world is left wondering, where is Superman when he's needed most? Come on, it's a Batman book. Come on, let's say where's Batman? That don't worry about Superman. But in his mysterious absence, Batman must rally the rest of the League to counter the alien threat. But first, he must quell a crime wave on the blacked out streets of Gotham. Very interesting premise, and I mean, it's Derek Robertson drawing Batman, so you have me at that. I'm gonna have to check this out.
A brutal and shocking adventure that will turn everything you think you know about Superman upside down. So there you go. It does seem to be as much a Superman story as it is a Batman story. But
Fair.
I got to say, if I want my Superman inverted, I'll read a Bizarro story.
Yeah, you're right.
That description makes me a little nervous, honestly, as a Black Superman fan.
Or an Earth 3 story.
Yep.
Oh, true. I can go as far as Ultraman. Good finishing.
Yeah.
Well, when I do get to it, whether I wait until it's on DC Infinite in 6 months or whether I hit it before then, I will let you know whether it has completely bastardized Superman or not, Murd. And if it hasn't, then it may be worth your time.
Okay, thank you, Ian. So I think I was probably going to trade wait for this regardless. So
yeah. My equivalent of trade waiting at this point is just waiting for it to be on DC Infinite. So that's pretty much what I'm going to wind up doing as well.
Yeah, that's generally mine too.
Series. It's kind of a hefty commitment to be buying monthly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I may just buy the first issue digitally and see what it's like there, and then gauge whether or not it's worth me waiting for more on DC Infinite.
Yeah, because it's still only a 3-month wait.
With DC Infinite, I think it's 6 months.
6, okay. Maybe then Marvel's 3.
Marvel's 2.
Okay.
Actually. Yeah.
Oh, 2. Good heavens, 2 now.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been shortening that gap a lot with Marvel. And for that matter, listeners, if I'm wrong about the 2 and it's 3, please let me know in the notes. But I'm pretty sure it's 2. Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. And a Batman Annual by Ed Brisson and John Times here on page 5. As we continue the Batman Inc. storyline that has been running, and The Fallout of the Abyss. Let's see what that's all like. Wow, look at this jock cover on the next page.
Yeah.
Oof, man. This I'm definitely trade waiting on, but it's written and drawn by Jock. Like that's bound to be gorgeous.
Yeah, I would think so too.
Yeah, and a variant cover by Raphael Grandpa as well on page 6. This is the third of 3 of this prestige Black Label comic that Jock's been putting out, Batman 1 Dark Knight. And hey, page 7, it's your
Psycho
boy.
Pirate.
Psycho Pirate. Maybe a crisis. Maybe a crisis. What about a crisis?
Maybe. In fact, it's pretty strong maybe, as we'll see a little bit later on, like a few pages later.
Yep.
Right.
Most definitely. Yep. Flashpoint Beyond number 2. And I will be picking up issue 1, definitely.
Yep, I did too. I'll tell you what, you look at that design for Thomas Wayne's Batman, and I've got to say, I have a few McFarlane DC toys that have come out, and maybe I said this before when it came out on the show, but the figure of that character is probably one of the best that have been produced out of McFarlane toys for the DC stuff. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's such a striking design because it's Batman at its core, but at the same time, it's just unique enough to be an alternate.
Yep.
Yep. This cover by Mitch Gerards is dynamite good.
Yeah, definitely excited to get that.
Yep. All right, and scrolling forward to Flashpoint Beyond number 3, and we got Skinny Superman back. So let's see what happens there. Yep. Wow, they're coming out hot and heavy here.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about it.
Yeah. Okay.
We're talking bi-weekly.
We sure are. Yeah. Wow. Now, this issue of The Flash, the Fastest Man Alive, strikes me as well on page 10 as the second issue of Barry Allen's earliest days as the Flash continue. Prelude to the blockbuster.
Somehow he's fighting Tar Pit in his earliest days. That was a Wally villain.
Yeah, well, it's DC, cinematic universe. They could do whatever they want.
Oh, okay. I don't think I realized that.
Yeah,
this is
getting ready for the blockbuster.
Yep, read the prelude to the hotly anticipated blockbuster. Yeah, you can tell it's Ezra Miller Flash by the weird headpiece. That's on page 10. How about these? How about them apples? Page 11, the secret origin of Mongol.
Not so sure how much I care about that.
I care a little, actually, since he's a classic Bronze Age Superman. He was created by Starlin, and elevated to the upper echelons of Superman villainy by Moore and Gibbons, and for the man who has everything. Yep. Philip Kennedy Johnson is really fond of him, apparently, because that's like all he's having Superman do is just fight Mongol for months on end here. And here we're dedicating this year's annual to more Mongol, in stories written by Philip Kennedy Johnson and Cy Spurrier, with art by Dale Eaglesham and Ian Churchill, respectively. A couple of real quality creative teams there.
Yeah.
All underneath the cover by Francesco Francavilla, and there's even a Steve Rude variant down there in the corner.
Yeah, wow. You can't have two more different art styles, too, than Dale Eaglesham and Ian Churchill.
It's a pretty striking contrast, yeah.
Yeah.
But, for an annual, you can get away with stuff like that, definitely. Earth Prime Legends of Tomorrow on page 14. So we continue here with the CW stuff, and Earth Prime Stargirl also getting its action in there as well on page 14 and 15.
Yeah, don't miss that, because it's co-written by James Robinson and Parla Severnbergen, but the art is by Jerry freaking Ordway.
Oh, yeah.
So
I was going to pass right by it until I read that, and I'm like, nope. Gotta get it.
Gotta get it. Yeah, that's the cover art is not that great, but Ordway is inside. So
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And the page before that, you've got artwork by Paul Pelletier on the Legends of Tomorrow issue. So that's bound to be pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty
It's nothing to sneeze at either.
actually, the page before that, even pages 12 and 13.
Mhm.
We've got a new Aquaman miniseries written by Ram V or Ram 5, whatever he calls himself, and art by Christian Ward, the psychedelic illustrator who brought us that Odyssey series from Image a few years ago.
Mhm.
It's Aquaman and Black Manta and underwater alien stuff. It's called Aquaman Andromeda, and it's tripping its way to a underwater comic store near you.
It says it's 17 plus. Is it a black label? I assume by the black in here it is, but they don't actually.
You would think, yeah, it doesn't have
Yeah,
the
they-
label part
It's true. They
to
don't
it.
have the logo in here. They're not coming out and saying it's Black Label.
Yeah.
Maybe they're already
Ditching that.
phasing out that imprint.
It's possible, but then again, I've criticized DC's previews enough to know they might have just forgot.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
That's for sure.
completely plausible. Yeah.
I still can't get used to this previews the way it is.
Neither can I. Yeah, but yeah, no, I agree entirely. It's very trippy, gorgeously illustrated artwork on 12 and 13.
Yeah.
Yep. And check out
Nope.
check
Nope,
out this right here. Okay.
Nope.
Now this is a nope, but at the same time, it has to be mentioned because if gorillas in comics work, why can't dinosaurs in comics? You know,
I'm not saying they can't, but nope.
It's a question for greater minds than ours, I think.
Yeah. I
Certainly.
might look at it on the DC app, but as much as I get almost anything Justice League related, nope.
Not going to do the Jurassic League with
No, I'm
Justice
not.
League, but they're humanoid dinosaurs.
Nope. I'm reminded of the Primal Age stuff that was at Target and JL Ape. No.
JL Ape, of course. Yeah. Well, this isn't the Justice League transformed into dinosaurs.
No, I know.
Now, look,
No.
there's a little remembered Justice League story with some kind of unusual, atypical proto-parallel Earths. They were called I-Earth, R-Earth, and M-Earth, I think, which were worlds where insects, reptiles, and marine life, respectively, evolved to be the dominant life form on Earth. So you could think of this as the R-Earth Justice League, I suppose.
Yeah.
The heck of it is, it's a nope for me too, but if this were something that had been introduced in an old, 1968 issue of Justice League and was now being revived by creative team Daniel Warren Johnson and Juan Gideon, I'd probably be all over it. But as it is, it just seems silly, and I probably won't be buying it.
Yeah.
It's page 16, by the way, if you want to check out the solicit. And my favorite part of it is this heroic trinity, alongside a league of other superpowered dinosaurs, join forces to save a prehistoric Earth from the sinister machinations of Darkseid. Wait, what?
There's even a Jokersaurus in this
Yeah.
preview.
Of course there is. Of course there is.
Of course there is.
It is pretty awesome artwork. Like I'll give
It's
him
not bad art.
Yeah. It's just so stupid. In all the right ways.
Yeah.
In all the right ways, don't get me wrong, but so silly. So silly.
I'll look it on the app.
Oh wow. Nubia Coronation Special with a David Mack cover on page 18. Whew. Man oh man. Few draftsmen have the skills and depth of character that David Mack have. Man oh man. And this follows up on the Trial of the Amazons, and Stephanie Williams and Vita Ayala are there on the writing with Marguerite Savage, Daryl Banks, Jill Thompson, and a bunch of others, including Becky Cloonan, all there on the Coronation Special artwork on page 18.
Nice.
And then Damian Wayne Vampire Hunter? What is... Did it become October and I wasn't aware? Because...
Well,
I think at the current DC, every month is October, Ian.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
yeah, I was trying to calculate. I'm like, nope, this is way too early.
And it's almost like a Vampire Hunter D homage on this
Mhm.
this cover here.
Yep.
Damian Wayne. Oh, I get it. Vampire Hunter Damian Wayne. I see.
Well,
Mhm.
even that variant cover looks very reminiscent of an old Batman cover with Tim Drake, if I can remember right.
That's very true. That's very true. Yep. But DC versus Vampires, Hunters #1. Matthew Rosenberg on the writing, no slouch. Neil Pooge on the artwork, page 19. Vampires, if you're a fan of them, they're there for you in DC form.
Oh, now this is something that I missed on my first pass through the catalog, but now that I've seen it, I can't live without it.
Yep.
On page 20, it's the latest Tom King project. I mean, this would be the reason why he and Greg Smallwood have put the Human Target on a hiatus, a summer break between seasons 1 and 2, so that Tom can work on this, Danger Street, as in the Dingbats of. #1, written by Tom King, art by Jorge Fornes. Joining the Justice League is a goal for any superhero, but what happens when a quest for membership takes a sinister turn? Join Starman, this would be the blue-skinned Mikhail Tomas version, I'm sure, Metamorpho, and Warlord, as they look to prove themselves worthy by summoning and defeating Darkseid in battle. Soon they'll learn that calling upon a new god never ends well, and their world is headed for a crisis. As a result, the journey to save the day will be a treacherous one filled with princesses, knights, and all kinds of monsters. Each person the heroes encounter plays a crucial role in this sprawling yet gripping narrative that is a little bit silly, a whole lot dark, and completely cool. Expect the unexpected with a supporting cast featuring Manhunter, Lady Cop, the Green Team, and the Creeper, inspired by the heroes and villains of first issue special. That's right, the 70s tryout book. Tom King and Jorge Fornes, his collaborator on Rorschach, return for an unforgettable maxi series that reimagines the characters and their stories. A multi-character, multi-layered crime drama starring some of DC's most obscure creations. No one will see it coming, but everyone will want to see where it goes.
Yep. I thought of you right away when I read it.
Bye.
Yep.
Most definitely. Oh man, I am so happy that DC has given Tom King a blank check, and they're like, "All right, you want to go into our back catalog and do whatever you want. Go nuts, man. The world is your oyster."
We have been getting some incredible comics out of that arrangement.
Indeed. Yep. And this sounds like it is going to be one hell of a ride.
Well, and I know I said it briefly on another episode. When I'm reading Human Target, I if you've never listened to it, I mean it. Go to listen to Bob Bailey as Johnny Dollar on an old radio show, and that's what I hear when it's narrated. Like I just listen to everybody like a 40s or 50s sort of crime noir. But yeah, I saw this and thought, oh boy, all those obscure characters and what it's referencing, that just sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I especially dig the alternate cover there of that's done by Ben Oliver, the 1 of 50 variant, with Dr. Fate not just taking his helmet off, but his head clearly something on the underneath it.
Yep, I was just wondering to myself if Kirby's Atlas was going to be in it, and sure enough, he is in the topmost variant, which is another Steve Rude.
There you go. Yep.
Atlas versus some parademons.
Good stuff. All right, let's move forward here to Blood Syndicate Season 1 as Milestone continues to return. And this is Jeffrey Thorne with art by Chris Cross and Juan Castro.
Wow. Nice.
Man.
Welcome back, Juan.
Damn right. Page 21. Juan Castro, a longtime friend of the Comic Geeks Speak crew. Super duper happy to see him working with a artist of Chris Cross's caliber here on Blood Syndicate. Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yep. I'm just happy in general to have Milestone back in any form, and this has all been working out pretty well for everybody involved so far. And then Greg Pak has a new series, Duo, with Koi Pham on artwork as well.
Wow.
And Koi Pham, hopefully we'll be talking to him soon. I'm gonna have to try to work that out. But Koi Pham is a longtime listener of the show, and was super duper happy to hear that and figure that out in the last couple of months. So Koi, if you're listening to this, hey, how you doing, man? Yep, and this is set in the Milestone universe when Milestone returned, Reginald Hudling and Dennis Cohen weren't planning to stop there. Now they welcome you to a whole new realm of original characters extended far beyond Dakota. Welcome to Earth M. This is the first story being told on it.
Nice.
It's funny too that you mentioned a whole bunch of Earths with letters in them earlier, Murd, and now here we are with another one.
Yes, but this is Earth M as opposed to M Earth, where like a bunch of whales and seahorses and stuff became the dominant life form. Nope. Instead, this is Earth Milestone, baby.
Yes, it is. Yep. Yes, it is. And 2 new thrilling superheroes are introduced in this one with the power of billions of nanobots. Let's see where that goes. Page 22 there. And Static Season 1 collected in hardcover on page 23 with Vita Ayala and Reginald Hudlin, with artwork by Nicholas Draper Ivy, Chris Cross, and Dennis Cohen. Speaking
Adam,
of
if there was not a more perfect cover that I could totally see you creating in real life.
Yep, there's a reason why I decided to make it my Facebook profile pic. That's by Chris Burnham.
Yep.
That guy was. We knew him when he was attending Pittsburgh cons a long time ago.
Yeah. That is awesome.
Now, Justice League Road to Dark Crisis, I point out that looks like Wally's very short-lived Flash Rebirth costume that he's in, rather than the costume that he had been spouting more recently in comics. So I'm wondering if that somehow plays into this, or he stepped back into it and I just haven't caught up to that yet.
I don't think he stepped back into it.
Yeah, because you notice it's the more streamlined one, right? Like it looks a lot more like his Justice League Unlimited costume than the costume that we're familiar with. Unless that's Barry, and if it is, that's not Barry's regular costume. So I don't know what's going on there. Interesting. Well, nonetheless, page 24, the Justice League has tragically fallen in battle, and now we see the aftermath. How does the world react to the Justice League being gone? Which heroes rise up, and which villains try to take advantage? And what dark forces are lying in wait to attack? It's a whole bunch of DC creators here on writing and art as they showcase a world without a Justice League as we head to Dark Crisis. And then, as you stated earlier, Murd, we have our Dark Crisis Free Comic Book Day Special Edition, advertised on page 25. Look at that cover. Man, oh man.
Just wish they'd announced this a little sooner so that we would have had a chance to pre-order it.
That is true. Yeah.
I think I was able to add it to my cart.
Yeah, more than likely. Most places they'll probably let you add it into the existing order.
Okay. Well, we'll see. I haven't placed my DCBS order yet.
Fair enough. I'm also guessing that DC is going to print 1 million of these, so
oh yeah,
it's not going to be too hard to find one way or the other.
Yep, just write it off as a promotion.
Exactly. Yep.
And if superhero mega crossovers aren't your cup of tea, there's a couple of other things they're offering for SCBD, including Galaxy, the Prettiest Star FCBD edition, and also the League of Super Pets movie tie-in special edition.
Yeah. Nice. Very cool.
Yeah, I was able to add that Dark Crisis to my order.
Nice.
All right, then I'll go ahead and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. I'll mention that the writer of Galaxy, the Prettiest Star, Jadzia Axelrod. And I guarantee you that Jadzia Axelrod is named after the Star Trek Deep Space Nine character.
Yep.
I'll bet you that she was.
Indeed.
Growing up, one of my closest friends was named Zara Beth. She was named after a Star Trek character.
Nice. All right. Now, on page 28, God, it was probably, it might have even been a year ago that this was initially solicited. And now it is finally happening, as the original order was canceled shortly after we talked about it on previews. But Zatanna, the Jewel of Gravesend, is finally being released. This is written by Alice Arden, art and cover by Jacqueline De Leon, and it's set in my old neighborhood of Gravesend, with a whole bunch of it happening in Coney Island. I'm guaranteed to be purchasing it. Like that is a given. But also, I just love the concept. Like there's more to mobsters, mystics, and mermaids in Coney Island, just as born and raised resident Zatanna Star. But the time of for having fun in Luna Park comes to an end when a mystic's quest for a powerful jewel unravels everything Zatanna thought she knew about herself and her beloved neighborhood. And then, of course, the solicitation doesn't say this, but stand clear of the closing doors. Bing, bong.
And on one page, Ian is in the background.
Yes. I wish I was. Yeah, but page 28. I've been waiting for this, ever since I heard about it, and I'm glad that it's finally being released in July. It will be on stands, July 26th. Advanced pre-order available now. Page 28, and then just artwork on page 29 looks darn pretty.
Sure does.
Mm-hmm. What think we of Black Adam: Rise and Fall of an Empire?
It appears to collect stories, or at least pages of story featuring Black Adam from the 52 maxi series.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's nothing we haven't seen before.
Oh yeah,
It's just tie-ins for the upcoming movie starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah. Which of course makes me wonder how much of that is actually going to play into said movie, but probably not much.
No, I don't think it would play that much into it.
Yeah.
I think if there's a new series that comes out, that certainly might. But
oh yeah, they are also putting back into print a bunch of his JSA stuff. So Black Adam: The Dark Age was a 6-issue miniseries. Peter Tomasi and Doug Mahnke did, but it was terrific back in the day. Great cover by Alex Ross on that one. That's coming out in June. And Black Adam JSA Black Rain. This will have a lot to do with what's happening in the movie by those people who I know are going to be in it. And that's on page 31.
I loved when he was in the JSA.
Agreed. And then we get our trade paperback of Batman 89 for anybody who's waiting on that on page 32. And here we go.
Wow.
go.
I missed this the first time around.
Page 34. Fables issue 151. Just when you thought it was over, they pull you back in. Bill Willingham and Mark Buckingham and Steve Leialoha, the team is back together just in time for the 20th anniversary of its launch. We get a new 12-issue story picking up from where Fables left off number-wise. I was fully expecting it to be its own, separate thing. And instead, here we are with issue 151. Maybe by the time this comes out, I'll actually be freaking caught up on Fables because I'm.
I never finished
I'm right
the
there with
series.
You. No, I'm still in the middle of the series.
Yep, we're all in the same boat.
Yep.
I think I had maybe like 20 issues left or 30 issues left, and I may have very well sold them when I sold a bunch of my collection, but I know it's very easy to get the trades from libraries and what have you, so I may very well wind up doing that.
Yeah, I think I got almost all the trades from How Pig shows.
Yeah. Also, I think it may be. I'll have to check to see whether it's on the DC Infinite app, because if it is, then obviously that's going to be where I'm going to read it. But yeah. Yeah, just how about that, man? Fables 151, just picking up where it left off.
Yeah,
good for them. Good for them. Artwork is just as pretty as it ever was. Borders are there and everything. It's like they're picking up right where they left off.
Heck yeah.
Yep, man. That was on page 34, if I didn't say it. And now to the annoying part of the section, and let's see if we can pick out stuff that's been randomly stuck together.
I need a micro magnifying glass to read it.
I agree with you.
I do not see Fables on the app.
Okay.
Let me do that again.
All right.
Just in case.
Well, what I may do instead is I guarantee you Comixology/Amazon is probably going to have some sort of sale on it as it's getting closer. And that just might be an easy way for you to pick up the trades that I'm missing and just read them in the that way. But either way, I can get them from the library. So I'll figure it out one way or the other.
Yep, I don't see it on here.
All right. Worth a shot.
Yeah, sure is.
Yep. Let's see. Justice League versus the Legion of Superheroes #3 on page 39 as Bendis continues his final piece of the Legion of Superheroes puzzle that he had been painting over at DC. But most importantly, Looney Tunes 266 on that very same page.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Love it.
Bugs Bunny versus humorless robot versions of his Looney Tunes friends.
Oh,
Probably
no.
some cultural commentary in there.
I would say so, yes.
And I guarantee you he made a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Oh, you better believe it. Nightwing #92. Tom Taylor and Bruno Redondo on the art and the cover. Bruno Redondo, you are awesome. The end.
I'll tell you, I miss Blue and Gold being solicited in this book.
I hear you, my friend. I hear you. Yep.
In my shipment today, I got issues 6 and 7 or 7 and 8. I got 2 of them, whatever. So I'm excited to get 2 more issues to read.
Are those the last 2? Those are the last 2.
No, I think there's one more after. I think it's 8 issues.
Got it.
Yeah, 6 and 7. Yep.
There you go.
One more to go.
Page 44 brings back the 52 Omnibus. So any of you who do not own 52, own 52. It's one of the best things DC's ever made.
Yeah.
I'm almost to the point where I can reread the whole thing.
There you go.
I've toyed with that. I think I did get rid of a good chunk of the issues, but I have the 4 trades.
Yeah, I think I have my issues are probably mostly still at my mom's, to be honest with you. But I'll have to sort through that at some point and find them.
I've got all 52 issues sitting in a pile.
I may reacquire them. I kind of miss having them in the issues. I can't really tell you why, because it's not like I pull out every box and read everything again. But yeah.
Yep,
I do miss having them.
I will, because I've almost read my way up to the actual point in time.
Nice.
I'm halfway through Infinite Crisis, and once I'm done with that,
God, that was so much fun that was so much fun when they were building up to that and going all through Infinite Crisis right through to 52.
Yep.
Oh, good times.
And
yes.
right when the show was starting up, basically.
Yep.
Exactly. We got a lot of mileage out of those 52
Sure did.
and Infinite Crisis issues.
Absolutely. On that same page of page 42, 2 things of note to point out. Batman: The Adventures continues, season 2, with Alan Burnett and Paul Dini's continuation of Batman: The Animated Series with Deadman animated. Why not? And on that same page, Absolute Swamp Thing by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. Collects the first 13 issues of that particular Swamp Thing run, and House of Secrets #92. Anything else of note here in the trades area, gents?
Oh, the Justice League Infinity.
Good point. Yep. James DeMatteis and James Tucker with art by Ethan Beavers on page 46 there. Continuing Justice League animated, and I am happy to see that.
Yes, sir.
How about them Superman Golden Age omnibuses on Action Comics 126 to 147, Superman number 55 to 65, and World's Finest 37 to 47. You're looking for some old school and old school action. Yep.
Wow.
I believe we have a flying Lois Lane there on the cover. Anybody who hasn't picked up or read the return of Wally West into the main Flash title as the lead, His Quantum Leap-esque adventures are collected for you in volume 16 on page 47 of The Flash.
Very enjoyable superhero material.
Yeah. Yep.
It's absolutely the case. And that concludes DC as we return to the main book. Beginning with Transformers Last Bot Standing, #1, as IDW begins. The war for Cybertron is long over. The war for Cybertron never ends. The planet Donnocht sits on the edge of the universe, far away from all the stars that are flickering and fading out one last time. It's a world on the precipice of revolution, industrialization, taking its first steps into the realms of the mechanical. And on the far edge of nowhere, a visitor arrives, and Donnocht will never be the same again. Page 132 for that. That fascinating concept. I'm not quite sure what it's going to be about, but it looks like it's worth checking out. Definitely, Nick Roche on a 4-issue Transformers miniseries, almost like Old Man Logan Transformers style there.
Yeah, or Ronin, or whatever what was the last Turtle one that's out?
Oh yeah,
recently?
yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
The last, oh God, what's it called? Maybe it's called The Last Ronin. I can't remember.
Of course, my brain goes Star Trek with it, and it goes Donnocht and Gerard at Tanagra.
Yeah.
Where the walls fell.
Yep.
Hey, Murd, page 134.
Yeah. That's a new My Little Pony series based on this latest rebooted iteration of My Little Pony. Apparently, there's been a Netflix movie. It's not Twilight Sparkle and Friends. It's a new take on the characters and their world. It's I'm not getting involved. Not this time.
Fair enough.
So moving on.
Moving on, indeed.
I wish I'd get back into the regular G.I. Joe run. I know they're approaching 300. I'll probably get issue 300 because I like the anniversary kind of issues, like so many of us do. But I have the first issue of the next solicitation over on my pile to read. The G.I. Joe Saturday Morning Animated series continues right where the cartoon left off.
Yep.
It's only 4 issues, I think. Yep. Just looks like a whole lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Eric Burnham on the writing too, so it's seems like it's going to be super fun. And yeah, the artwork is just like on point. It looks like it's straight out of a cell.
Yep, sure does. And they're battling a genie. One of the crazier, nothing crazier than G.I. Joe battling the ghosts that are wrangled by Cobra with mementos that they hold on to, or the Vindo Viper coming to Barbecue's place. Yeah, I love the goofiness of G.I. Joe.
The chain, he's come to Vash and Vipe the Vindas.
Oh, that's such a great episode.
And I'm glad that we're gonna get to 300 before IDW's contract with G.I. Joe runs out.
I'm curious what happens with that next.
Yeah. Yep. If the story, I mean, again, if the stories are true, it's more than likely going to wind up with Image, and we'll see where it goes from there. But
which it was at Image once before.
Yes, I remember that.
Indeed. Yep.
Got another one of these roughly quarterly Godzilla Rivals one-shots on page 137, this time going up against the avian monster Gigan.
Yep. Keith Davidson on the writing and Yasmin Flores Montañez on the artwork.
Yep. Those are always fun.
Indeed. Right underneath it, more fun of Godzilla versus the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 3 of 5, because it was bound to happen eventually.
But did we know it was going to be brought to us by Cullen Bunn and our friend Freddie E. Williams II?
We did not, and we are very happy that it is. Issue 2 of that Rocketeer miniseries we discussed last month is available.
I'm waiting for that to be collected.
Bound to be good. Page 139 for that.
That cover's beautiful.
Yep. And we're nearing the conclusion of Star Trek: The Mirror War as well, as we hit issue 6 of that.
I have them. I didn't start it yet, but I have them.
Yep. Let me know what you think of it.
Okay.
I've been thinking about maybe picking up the trade of that one. All right, and I think that's probably it with IDW. As I scroll down a little bit more, it is indeed, as we've now hit Dark Horse. I mean, Dynamite, that is. But before we do, over to Marvel. And we begin with a return, as once again, Sam Wilson takes on the Captain America mantle with Captain America Symbol of Truth, #1, as Tochi Onyebuchi and R.B. Silva take on the writing and artwork chores. As again, Sam Wilson puts back on the red, white, and blue and gets himself his own shield from the looks of it. And
I didn't notice that. It is a different looking shield. Look at that.
Oh yeah, yep. It's definitely his own thing. That's for sure. Yep. Even the coloring's different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got the blue outer stripe, the Golden Age style.
Yep, exactly. As it looks like here, he's going to be. I mean, well, the question is raised. The world is ready for 2 Captain Americas, but is Sam Wilson ready for what comes next? And I guess we're going to have to find that out along with him. But I'm glad that they're embracing it. The one thing that I wish they didn't do, and yet they did, is give him the goatee, because now he's just looking way too much like his
too Mackie-esque.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here's a perfect view of the new shield.
Yeah, with the star a little bit different too.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
He's teaming up with the new Falcon too in this first issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. By the way, that started on page, I guess technically page 1. Yeah, page 2 of the catalog. Once again, I need to remind myself I'm in Marvel, and I have to go back a page to find out what page I'm on.
Yeah.
Numerical sequence not spoken here.
Exactly. Okay, the cover B for Thor 25, and for that matter, good on Cates to be reaching the 25th issue of his run here. But it has been way too long since I've seen John Romita Jr. draw Thor. And I was a huge fan of his run on Thor right after the Heroes Return. And this is it's an awesome image. Super thrilled with that cover.
Yeah.
Yep. Banner of War Part 2. The 25th issue here on page 6. And playing with the perspective of the Hulk logo has always been one of my favorite things with Hulk comics, and we see that again on page 8 here with Hulk #7.
Banner of War Part 3.
Indeed. And the Savage Avengers return on page 10 as David Piposi and Carlos Magno get in there with a all new, all different, all dangerous team of Savage Avengers, still led by Conan. A very, very different team of Avengers. That much.
Yeah, that sure is. Wow.
Yep. The team is looking a lot more extreme.
Let's not go back to that.
Although it's nice to see Cloak and Dagger on the crew. That's
oh sure.
Yeah. And Steve Orlando gives us Spider-Man 2099 Exodus Alpha #1 with Paul Fry on the artwork and a completely awesome cover by Ken Lashley here. That's the variant cover. As Miggy returns for some more action. For Spider-Man 2099, the only thing constant about life in Nueva York is change. So when a cataclysmic crash creates a new Garden of Eden in what was once American wasteland, Spider-Man knows exactly what the next atrocity will be. And he joins in with Ghost Rider 2099 from the looks of it, too. And then Dave Wachter joins in with 2099 Exodus #1 with Orlando. We get the Winter Soldier of 2099.
Huh.
Yep. Always great to see our buddy Dave on any sort of artwork.
Absolutely.
Yep. Chip Zdarsky does Devil's Reign Omega, leading into the return of his Daredevil run on page 17, along with Rafael De La Torre and more. But most importantly, on page 18, the Thunderbolts are back.
In a manner of speaking.
Yeah, in a matter of speaking. That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
they're just taking that Thunderbolts name and applying it to all kinds of apocrypha these days, aren't they?
Well, I'll tell
we
you
got
what.
Hawkeye, we got Monica Rambeau, we've got Persuasion, formerly Purple Girl of Beta Flight. Yeah, she's the daughter of Zebediah Kilgrave, wouldn't you know?
Okay.
And plus America Chavez and a new Power Man and some other randos. It's just, it's got Hawkeye to lend it legitimacy, but that doesn't make it the Thunderbolts. I'm sorry, I'm really not that interested in that. Even though Jim Zub is writing it, and he has written the Thunderbolts before, when it was, more properly the Thunderbolts, when it was, a team, still more characters from the original run, more of the redeemed Masters of Evil and whatnot.
Yeah.
This assortment of characters does not interest me at all.
Well, I will say the artwork by Sean Isaac definitely interests me, because that's the artist behind the most recent Fantastic Four life story, and also the main Fantastic Four run for a while there with Dan Slott. So I look forward to seeing what his artwork looks like here with Thunderbolts, and maybe we'll get some Thunderbolts-esque action. Like, that's all I'm hoping for here. But it's cool to see some of the other characters involved. Like Spectrum and America Chavez, but you're right, it's not exactly old school Thunderbolts.
Yeah, and it's only 5 issues, so.
Yep.
See which group of characters the name describes next after that.
Well, on page 20, there is a facsimile edition of Thunderbolts Marvel Tales, they call it, as we get ourselves the Incredible Hulk 449, along with their Tales of the Marvel Universe #1, which were the first appearances of Thunderbolts before their series started off with Busiek and Peter David, along with Mark Bagley and Deodato Jr. there. And Moon Knight #1 has its own facsimile on top of that, with the old school Monk and Sienkiewicz on the first issue of Moon Knight. Talk about a return here on page 22.
Yep, this is something that does interest me quite a bit, actually. I was always kind of,
Wow.
I fell for this pretty crassly commercial move, hook, line, and sinker, when they tried this the first time around. The new Fantastic Four, replacing the FF with superstar characters Hulk, Wolverine, Spider-Man, and Ghost Rider. But this time we're going back to those salad days with the creative team Peter David and Alan Robinson. And this has kind of become PAD's stock and trade at Marvel lately, just telling stories set in past continuity with these characters of yesteryear. Now, he's been doing quite a few symbiote black costume Spider-Man miniseries.
Yep.
And now he's doing one with the new Fantastic Four set shortly after their first substituting for the FF while the original FF went missing. And so we get to see them having another adventure in their original context.
And it looks darn pretty to boot. Looking at the interior artwork, and yeah, you're right. It kind of has become Peter David's thing, but I honestly am glad to see Marvel playing in their continuity a bit more. And
Me too.
going back to old stuff.
Yep, I think I'm buying pretty much every single miniseries that follows that formula. So clearly, it's working on me at least.
And talking about going back to their old stuff,
Yeah.
Secret Invasion #1 of 5, Ryan North on the writing, Francesco Mobili on the artwork. Hey, the Skrulls are back in scroll form.
Well, that's. I mean, they come in many forms after all, but that's scroll form is my favorite.
Yeah. When Maria Hill detects the merest hint of Skrulls, she acts quickly to put her defensive plans into action. And when Nick Fury is sent to investigate a Skrull sighting in Iowa, he finds the last thing he was expecting. I don't know exactly what the last thing could possibly be for him, but yeah.
More Skrulls.
Hey, could be, maybe another group of old school looking Avengers landed in the desert or something like that.
Yeah,
like it did the last time to confuse us. But yeah, page 26 on that one, and you see a nice alternate cover there on page 27 as we return to Secret Invasion just in time for the Secret Invasion show on Disney Plus.
How about that?
Gambit.
How about him, mon ami?
C'est bon.
Oh, mon cher.
Yeah, now speaking of stuff that's set in past continuity, here's another X-Men legend for you from writer Chris Claremont and artist Sid Kotian, and it's Gambit and Lil Storm. Little Aurora sent, I guess, right after the time that Gambit and the de-aged Storm first met in Uncanny X-Men number 266, if I'm getting the number right.
Yep.
It's a 5-issue
you are right.
series, and it's set back in the day. And, Gambit was, for a long time, he was my second favorite comic book character. So, or at least for the first few years that I was collecting comics when I was strictly Marvel and nothing else. So I still have a soft spot for the character, certainly, and I may have to pick this 5-issue miniseries up.
Yeah, I may too. I can remember back. It had to be like 1992, 93. I was searching for the first appearance of Gambit, and I called, well before the internet, well before ease of ordering stuff. I'm calling comic shops all over Pennsylvania and found one in Bloomsburg that had it and drove 2 hours to go up and get it and drove back home.
I just went through the bins at Pagoda Comics, which was just like 6 miles up the road from my house, and they just kind of had it in the bins. I mean, it was like $10 or $20, which it was kind of a big investment for me at the time, but
Sure.
in the long run, it's been worth it. But I'm sorry you had to go all the way to Bloomsburg, Shane.
Oh, no, I loved it. I had a good time.
So here's my question. Is that variant cover by Salvador Larroca reused from a trading card? Because it sure does look like trading card art.
It does at that. I don't recognize it as such, but you're right. It does look like something that was intended for use on a little piece of cardstock.
Yeah, if it wasn't, then that's exactly what Larroca is channeling, definitely.
Yeah.
Feeling his Marvel Masterpieces Series 1 vibe.
Definitely, yep. And then we get on page 30, issue 3 of Amazing Spider-Man by Wells M. Romita Jr. And again, just look at that cover. Oof. Man. Nice to have Romita Jr. back home. Venom is going to have some Kang action in issue 8 on page 32.
Yep. May have to check that out.
Yep. What about the original Venom? What about Eddie Brock? Your answers start here. The next issue of the What If Miles Morales on page 35. This one, What If Miles Morales was the Hulk? And man, it's a shame that that's not the final artwork of Ben Reilly's Spider-Man number 5, because honestly,
yeah,
publish it black and white. That is beautiful. That is a super good piece of artwork right there.
God, I love Ben Reilly as Spider-Man.
Yep. Same here.
Interesting assortment of characters he's up against. It's got Swarm, looks like Typhoid, and I think that's the then contemporary design of Mysterio when he had little bondage belts all over his body.
Oh, okay.
And is that Jack-O-Lantern in there too?
No, I think that's the Mysterio.
Oh, that's the Mysterio. Okay.
Yeah, he didn't have the fishbowl at that time.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that design didn't last long, but I'm glad that they're going going back into the right time period for the designs of all these characters, because this is yet another example of a period set miniseries, and from a great creative team too, Demetrius and David Baldion, who I've enjoyed since his work on Micronauts over at IDW.
Here. Yep. Meet the Captain America of 1954, Gwen Stacy. Okay.
Okay, is right.
Sure. Miles Morales number 38. There's some. One of these days, I'm just gonna sit my butt down and read this thing because it's starting to look crazier and crazier every single month. And I trust Saladin Ahmed as a writer, but yeah, I gotta catch myself up. Next up, the Empire of the Spider, page 37.
God, Venom Lethal Protector. We.
Venom Lethal Protector, sure, yeah, but how about Savage Spider-Man right there?
Yeah,
that's also bringing us back. Page 39, Joe Kelly on that, by the way. So issue 4 or 5 of that one, and I'm a little annoyed. Restart for the sake of restarts. That's what Marvel does.
Yeah, that doesn't sit very well with me either, Ian, but I forget about it immediately when I look at what this new first issue of X-Men Legends has to offer.
That is true.
It's written by Roy Thomas with art by another one of our good friends, Dave Wachter.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically Thomas giving us what looks like a whole grab bag of different ideas from right after the end of his run on X-Men in the late 60s, when the X-Men went into reprints for a couple of years before it was rejuvenated by Giant Size X-Men #1.
Yep. Yeah, we get an Untold Beast story as one of them as well, and a host of missing mutants and the secret behind Wolverine's costume. Man, yeah, you're right. I mean, I'm super happy to see this, but I guess they just figured, hey, every 12 issues we can restart it as #1, as if yeah.
It sticks in my craw too, Ian. They should be number 13, but what the hey? As long as the stuff inside is high quality, which it can't help but be.
Mm-hmm. That is true. That is very true.
No shortage of the X books, that's for sure.
That is also true, but I'm still happy that this 5-issue miniseries X-Men 92 House of X exists.
That's brilliant. House of XCII, right?
Oh my God, yeah, House of 92, beautiful. With the nation of Krakoa established in X-Men animated series lore, mutant kind is ready to defend their new nation from threats of all kinds, but the X-Men have no idea about the mutant whose secret power of resurrection lies beneath the entire thing. It's the entire Krakoan age 30 years early.
Wow.
It's brilliant.
I love it. Yep.
And necessary too, because the whole Krakoa saga is just so dense and so sprawling, and I haven't penetrated it yet. I haven't picked up the first Power of 10 House of X thing in trade yet. So this is neatly simplified. It's going to be a nice, enjoyable, palatable gloss for folks like me who haven't. Who A, are nostalgic for the old X-Men animated series, and B, who haven't braved Hickman's reimagining of the X-Men in their corner of the universe yet.
Yeah, and soon enough we'll have that animated series coming back.
I was just gonna say, isn't there an animated series coming?
Yes, there is on Disney Plus. Yep, the continuation of X-Men 92 will be coming soon.
Awesome.
All right, I don't think I have any other single issues here to mention. So unless you guys have anything, I'll head over to trades. What say you?
So say we all.
There is one Star Wars thing that I absolutely must mention.
Excellent. I will get there momentarily. Oh, and I will mention Silver Surfer Rebirth issue 5 of 5 comes out this month on page 66. So that will be collected shortly. All you fans of old school Mars and Limb action.
Kind of a giant spoiler there if you've read the first issue or two. All right. And then on page 73, there we go. Yes. To coincide with the eventual streaming series starring Obi-Wan Kenobi we'll be getting on Disney Plus, we've got an Obi-Wan Kenobi miniseries, 5 issues, written by Christopher Cantwell, the Estimable. With art by Ario Anindito, and it appears like it's going to be a kind of a selection of stories set in different times of Obi-Wan Kenobi's life. He's sitting there on Tatooine writing up his memoirs shortly before Luke finds him in the original Star Wars movie. And so that's kind of the framing device here as he reminisces about different times in his life, going all the way back to when he was a youngling, learning under Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and that cover there by Phil Noto.
Oh, gorgeous.
Beautiful. Yep. Well, it's good that they got their stars on this miniseries. Just in time for the new Disney Plus miniseries.
Indeed.
And then speaking of stars, Star Wars Tales, Chrysanthemum #1, Jason Aaron and Kieran Gillen on the right,
Wow.
with artwork by Diodato Jr., Mayhew, Mike Mayhew, that is, not Peter Mayhew, Mark Lamming, and Will Sliney. And this is a collection here. So this collects Star Wars issues 14 and 15 and number 20 from the 2015 series, and Star Wars Dr. Aphra annual #1. But it's a cool collection to have.
Yeah.
Great creators.
If you saw the character on Book of Boba Fett and would like to read the comic stories that introduced him, this is just what you need.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you, Hasbro put out a Black Series action figure of that, and they modeled him after his comic book appearance. So it's a little bit plainer of paint apps and everything, and his bandoliers very, very stark light brown, which looks very odd. It looks like they put no thought into it, and they took a Chewbacca figure and dipped it in black paint. They're getting railed for it when I read it on forums. It just doesn't look right.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I heard it was coming, and I was excited for it, and then what we saw, I was like, nope.
And hey, speaking of Chewbacca, there he is on page 75. Star Wars Han Solo and Chewbacca #3. Thank you.
I envy you that skill, Shane.
I can't even talk like this, like I'm underwater.
Okay, so you can do Chewbacca and Merman all in one breath.
Yeah.
Now, here's something of importance, gentlemen, on page 80, as Miracle Man goes back into print with the original writer. They will not say Alan Moore for the life of them, even though that's exactly who it is. With Mick Anglo, Katie
Cat Ironwood.
Thank you, Cat Ironwood. I knew I was gonna get that wrong. Grant Morrison and Peter Milligan, and then pencils by some of the greatest, including Gary Leach, Alan Davis, Rick Veitch, Chuck Austin,
Alan Davis.
Yep, and John Ridgway and a bunch of others. Yeah, this is all coming back in there because we're finally getting more. Miracle Man, that Neil Gaiman is finally going to continue and finish what he was putting out there. But happy to see this omnibus collection coming back in the print and allowing more people to check out Miracle Man. On page 80 and 81.
$100 for that hardcover collection, which is actually not that bad.
Oh no, it's totally not that bad.
Yeah, hey, it'll be $50 in some places, so that's that's nothing at all. Yeah. Any of you who are fans of Ultimate Spider-Man and haven't checked it out, this is volume 2 of the Ultimate Spider-Man Omnibus.
Wow, talk about the good old days.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man issues 40 through 71 and Ultimate 6 1 through 7, all in one package here on page 84. Bendis and Bagley at their finest. And some good, spectacular Spider-Man stuff. On the very next page, page 85. Mantlo, Conway, Archie Goodwin, Jim Shooter, Chris Claremont, Marv Wolfman, Tony Isabella, Tom DeFalco. Great pencils to go along with it, including Frank Miller and John Byrne. Oof. That's some good old school action. New printing of Dan Slott's She-Hulk.
Such a good run.
Yeah, and Shane, you got to seriously, if you haven't read the new Rainbow series, like Rainbow Rowell's She-Hulk.
No, I haven't.
I just read the second issue. I'll talk more about it on our next comic talk, but it's easily the best She-Hulk since Slott.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great so far. And most importantly, Jack of Hearts.
Oh. God, I loved when he was in that Avengers run.
Yep. The whole Jason Aaron King Conan arc is on page 94, collected in trade paperback, with excellent pencils by Mahmoud Asrar. And here's that, even better. The first volume of She-Hulk by Rainbow Rowell, solicited right where I wanted it to be, issues 4
Nice.
through 5.
Yeah.
Page 99, so good timing. Didn't realize we'd already gotten there. And then Ben Reilly, Spider-Man is getting its solicit out the door nice and early, too, with that DeMatteis and Baldion series being collected on page 100. That's about it for me in trades.
Excalibur.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong there either.
Oh, I hardly agree.
Very true. Yep.
Claremont and Davis, like butter.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Wonderful, whimsical British comics kind of sensibility to it.
God, I absolutely love that series. I love the square bound issue that came out before this premiered.
Yep.
Oh,
Well, this has the Excalibur special edition #1.
does it?
Yep.
Nice.
And issues 1 through 11 of that Excalibur series, and then Excalibur, Mojo Mayhem, and Captain Britain issues 1 through 2, plus material from Mighty World of Marvel #7 and 14 through 15, and Marvel Comics Presents 31 through 38.
That might be worth it.
I would like to mention on page 108, we've got a trade of a recent miniseries called simply Marvel.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that was just look at the phone book's worth of creators listed here, because this was an anthology miniseries. The framing device was written by Kurt Busiek and painted by Alex Ross, and it was about Doctor Strange being tortured by nightmare with dream visions of these strange alternate takes on the Marvel universe, written and or drawn or penciled, painted, what have you, by all these writers and artists listed herein. So some really interesting, eclectic, strange, and delightful takes on Marvel characters across the 6 issues of this miniseries, including some published Marvel work by our friend Uncle Sal.
That very, very good point. Yep. Mm-hmm. He worked. That was a Thing story.
It was indeed a Thing. Yes.
Yep. Yes, indeed. Yep. So if you want to see Uncle Sal in Marvel, that's where you're going to find him there. Page 108. I think I will be getting that trade at some point, Murd, because I think that's going to go very nice next to the original Marvel's volume that I have.
Yep, they don't have much in common beyond the creative team, of course. But
sure.
Yeah.
Quality they have in common. That much. That
yes.
Much is definitely good. Yeah. Page 114, I'll mention before we finish out with Marvel. If you've never checked out Mark Waid's Heroes Return run on Captain America, you've got some good reading ahead of you.
I enjoyed it.
Yep. And I believe this will hopefully include the original version of the Red Skull story that was horribly rewritten, which basically led to him leaving the series. I'm hoping that they include that in here, because I remember they did release that as a special edition comic a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that story was very important to Mark Waid. I mean, he said in interviews that if he could choose one script of his that he could rescue from a burning building, that it would be the original undoctored version of Captain America #14.
Yep, definitely. This is supposed to have Captain America through issues 13 through 24 and annual 99. So, yeah, I hope it's the right issue 14.
Yeah.
All right, gents. I think that's it for Marvel for me, because that's the end of the
That's the end of the thing.
catalog. There we go.
All right.
Yep. Shane, you gonna exit out?
Yeah, gentlemen, I have to take my leave.
Yep, not a problem. Anything in the back of the catalog you want to point out real quick, or are you good?
No, not specifically. There was nothing new on Serial. I can't remember if there was anything for Wrong Earth, which I usually get if I see anything in there for Ahoy Comics Wrong Earth.
There is a one-shot there.
There is one shot. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I missed that. I'll have to go check.
We'll shout it out for you when we get there.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Yep.
All right, gents. Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Our
Thanks for
pleasure.
sticking with us and giving us moral support, Shane.
Sure. No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Good night.
Good night.
Well, it's just you and me, sir. It's time for our time as we tackle the end of the previous catalog here, and I can safely say I have nothing in Dynamite.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple of things from Dynamite I'm buying, but nothing that needs to be mentioned. You know, just
Exactly. Yep.
issue 2 or 3 or whatever.
Exactly. Nothing new of note that points at that I can point out immediately.
So scroll.
And we head right into Boom afterwards, and let's see where Boom starts us off. Wow, there are a lot of Dynamite solicitations this month. Here we are. Let's start off with Dune: The Waters of Canley, issue 1 of 4, written by Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson, and Francesco Mortarino on the illustrations. Kevin J. Anderson being a part of this is what really interests me here.
Oh yes. He's written quite a few Star Wars prose stories. If you've not heard of him.
Yep. And here he is digging his toes into the Dune world. I just rewatched the Dune movie just a day or two ago in prep of the Academy Awards, and I enjoyed it even more the second time. I think a lot of the problems I had with it were less so on a second watching, which was mainly that it felt like half a movie. And I feel like the build, I don't know, like once I knew what was coming and that I knew I wasn't going to get more, it actually...
Your expectations of length have been structured and set.
Exactly. Yeah. I was able to enjoy it a lot more, and it's just so well done. And I'm happy to see more of the world before we get to the second movie. That was on page 202. And Stephanie Phillips, a name that I am quite familiar with, along with Flaviano on the artwork, give us Grimm #1, a brand new series for fans of the many deaths of Lila Starr and Something is Killing the Children. On page 204 here, Jessica Harrow is dead, but her journey has only just begun. Discover the world of the afterlife, where Jessica has been recruited as a Reaper, tasked with terrifying countless souls to their final destination. But unlike the rest of the Reapers, she has no memory of what killed her and put her into this predicament. In order to unravel the mysteries of her own demise, she'll have to solve an even bigger one. Where is the actual Grim Reaper? Good questions to be asked here, and this might have me.
That's a pretty good premise. It's just sounds a little bit like Dead Like Me, only with more edge and more mystery.
With a little flair of the anime / manga Bleach, as that had a whole lot of soul reaping going on. So yeah, this has got me, and I may very well wind up picking it up either in singles or trades. Page 204, Grimm #1.
Yeah, I think I may be sold too.
Excellent. All right, we have Maw on softcover on page 208. Collects the first 5 issues of the series by Jude Ellison S. Doyle and A. Al Kaplan. Yes, I was drawn by the cover because that is just really cool imagery.
Yep.
Yeah, so for
mouth with flowers.
Exactly, mouth with flowers and
a still life,
and street and like a spray painted logo right there in the mouth. Just well placed.
It's like an 80s VHS box.
Yes, actually. Belongs right in a modern art museum right there on page 208. Everything else is mid-play here, except for this on page 217. We mentioned the individual issues as they were coming out, and now here we are with Buffy the Last Vampire Slayer, Casey Gilly and Joe Jarrow's complete 4-issue saga here of Buffy in her late 50s, hardened by loss and a life looking over her shoulder, as she stands alone against a world of vampires who can daywalk unimpeded. This is very much the old man Logan of the Buffy world, and now that it's collected,
sure seems so.
It's going to be mine. This looks great. Out of Boom, and into the rest of the. How about on page 234, Hendrix, Electric Requiem.
Okay.
Yep. Mattea Colombaro and Gianluca Marconi on the writing chores, and Gianluca Marconi also on the artwork. Hendrix Electric Requiem explores the life, career, and music of a true rock and roll god, the one and only Jimi Hendrix here.
Hmm.
And it's a nice illustrated biography of the one and only, and a man who very much changed rock and roll for the better.
All right. Always appreciate a good rock biopic.
Indeed.
Or biocomic, I should say.
Yep, and if you're looking for preview pages, there is a QR code you can scan with your phone there on page 234 if you are inclined to do so. Motor Girl Omnibus on page 236. Anybody who is waiting to read Motor Girl, this is pretty much all of it right there. Terry Moore's Motor Girl, all there for you. On page 236, and there's an ape on the cover. I repeat, there's an ape on the cover.
It sells copies.
Yes, it does.
And damn it, that ape is real. I don't care what anyone says. It's not just in Motor Girl's imagination. There is an ape in Gilead.
I will believe you. How about this? Bunny Mask the Hollow Inside. As the hit horror series returns, Paul Tobin and Andrea Moody. What a creative team right there. Continue with more of their Bunny Mask stories on page 238. Whether you picked it up the first time or whether you're just picking it up now, it should be a easy foothold in if you want to find out more about this crazy character, Bunny Mask. Page 238 on a Aftershock. Love the design.
Yeah. Simple, impactful, sexy, terrifying.
Indeed.
And here we've got some new Peter Milligan coming up here on page 240. It's called Dogs of London, written by Mr. Milligan, art by an artist named Artisida. And it's a crime fiction piece. It's a story about aging London gangsters, members of a gang called the Dogs, who were a force to be reckoned with in the London underworld in the swinging 60s. And this is a tale that spans decades and social classes within the strata of London's crime world. A tale of brutal, bloody violence, love, revenge, and sleeping dogs who refuse to roll over and play dead.
Man. Whew. Talk about
It's
creepy imagery right there. That cover is all of that.
Yeah. I'm assuming there aren't any actual lycanthropic dog people in this story, but I'm guessing the cover is more of a metaphor, but wouldn't be surprised. It's honestly, it's more the spanning times and classes aspect of it that appeals to me than just London gangsters, because there's plenty of crime fiction around here, but I'm hoping Milligan can put a unique and thoughtful spin on the subject.
Agreed. And because it's Peter Milligan, I don't know whether or not there are actually I'm gonna get the word out eventually, but now's not.
Were-dogs.
Were-dogs. Thank you. Like, oh my God, I can usually do it. It's just it's getting caught on the tongue like nobody's business right now.
As you observed earlier, Ian, it has been a day.
Indeed. Lycanthropic. There we go. Voila. Mm-hmm. Potato. Page 240. Potato's the right way to pronounce it. How about this prestige format one-shot Wando has for us? Spectro on page 242.
An anthology of fear.
You had me at fear. Explores the unnerving spectrum of fear throughout 4 terrifying stories rooted in a cosmic game of twisted karma and phantasmagoric terror. Yowzas. And man, that Wando artwork is a pretty thing to behold.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Page 242 has the solicitation. 243 has the artwork. A hardcover collection of Donny Cates' Baby Teeth Year 2 is going to be on sale on June 8th and solicited on page 248. Collects a whole 9 issues of the series, 11 through 20. I guess that's technically 10 issues, 11 through 20. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. 248. Math is hard. Let's go shopping.
All right, page 254.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of things to mention here, including one that we promised Shane we'd talk about. All right, so continuing a series of Wrong Earth one-shots being released this year. We've got one called Purple, written by Stuart Moore, art by Fred Harper, and a cover, of course, by our pal Jamal Eigel. Let's see, this time we meet the Dragonfly of Earth Kappa. Since the whole deal of the Wrong Earth, it's always been about 2 different versions of the Batman-like hero Dragonfly, or Dragonfly Man, different names for different Earths. On Earth Alpha, he's basically Adam West. On Earth Omega, he's basically a, Frank Miller-style bloodthirsty vigilante. But here on Earth Kappa, it's a totally 80s version of the Dragonfly.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, there's even an incentive variant cover by Gene Ha.
Oh, wow.
And another variant cover by Jerry Ordway.
Ooh, boy, man, they're going all out for this one. Yeah.
It's hard to lose, but if the image we're seeing here is Jamal's cover, I think that is the one I'll be buying.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's, man, the just in general, the more Dragonfly men you can get me, the better. And yeah, 80s action Dragonfly, that's bound to be fun.
Yep, all in on that one. And also on page 254, Eric Powell is going Golden Age style here with a new quarterly anthology title, Albatross Exploding Funny Books. First issue solicited here. It combines multiple features in a single 48-page issue, including headliners The Goon and Hillbilly, and some other characters and concepts, old and new, all springing from the slightly unhinged and macabre mind of Eric Powell. Oh, with an assist from Lucky Yates.
Oh, wow.
The voice of Krieger on Archer.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Yeah. That's one not to be missed.
Yeah, right? Krieger, my favorite Nazi.
Also, yes.
Got a graphic novel on page 260 with a great name, although it's volume 4, but still, Wallace the Brave volume 4. Are we lost yet? Looks very Calvin and Hobbes in the artwork and experience there by Will Henry of Amp Comics for Kids.
Yep.
Sorceline volume 1, Sylvia Doye and Paolo Antista. Welcome to the island of Vorn, where mythical creatures roam free, and only the brightest students are invited to study them. For as long as she can remember, Sorceline has had a knack for the study of mythical creatures. Now a student at Professor Archibald Balzar's prestigious School of Cryptozoology, she's eager to test her skills and earn a spot as one of Balzar's apprentices. But for all her knowledge of gorgons, vampires, and griffins, Sorceline is mystified by her fellow humans. Aw. Sorceline sounds like it's going to be a good all ages experience right there. Page 261.
Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the elementary level.
Basically, yeah. Keep having to remind myself we have another one of those coming soon.
Page 265. Archie is leading with a non-Riverdale book here.
Yeah.
As we see more of Dean Haspiel, a creator who has really taken a semi-obscure Golden Age MLJ Archie superhero character to his heart. He's done a couple of different stories and collections of stories with The Fox, and now he's giving us this one-shot, The Fox Family Values, which posits the idea that the original Fox, Paul Patton, has a whole family of people who adopt the Fox mantle in different ways. His wife is the she-fox, his son, Shinji, is the ghost fox, and it's just superhero morals and family values. And as a matter of fact, the title of it is The Fox Family Values.
Okay.
And it's by Dean Haspiel and Vito Del Sante, and there's even a reprint of a classic old-time Fox story by Alex Toth.
Excellent. Yeah, it kind of like Archie comic sensibilities meets the Incredibles, perhaps. The multiple
Yeah.
generations.
Yep, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And, happy to see Vito Del Sante getting some further work out there as well.
And on page 266, Archie is actually crossing over the comic book version of Archie with the CW TV version of Archie in the Archie Meets Riverdale one-shot.
That was bound to happen. Hey, that guy's got my good looks.
Yeah, it's kind of eerily reminiscent of the Archie Punisher crossover in the 90s.
Oh, man.
Which also featured Archie dancing with either Betty or Veronica and observing a heavily armed Frank Castle standing off to one side playing chaperone.
After we saw it in London, we jumped ahead because I'm still like 4 seasons behind. We jumped ahead to the Heather's the Musical episode of Riverdale so we could watch that and experience their version of it. And it was pretty good. It was pretty good. They used the PG-13 version of it that I mentioned in our comic talk and did a good job with it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that Riverdale had done that.
Yeah, they've done multiple musical episodes set in a musical happening at the school, and then the songs integrate themselves into the episode itself. It's pretty well done.
That's major kudos to the showrunners for that.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin Percy here on page 280 gives us Devil's Highway Volume 2, illustrated by the one and only Brent Schoonover.
Hey ho!
Indeed, it's a Friends of CGS month here on previews.
Yeah, it sure feels like it.
Yep. There's a truck stacked with bodies is discovered along the U.S.-Canada border, and Sharon Harrow and Quentin Skinner are on the case. Their mission, figure out how all of these corpses are connected. And when they uncover the terrifying truth, they will unearth a murder syndicate that has infiltrated the walls of the very institutions meant to protect us. Now our heroes are on the run, hunted by law enforcement and the trucking community, framed for crimes they didn't commit. Very intriguing story there for Devil's Highway Volume 2. Page 280. I saw Brent Schoonover recently got to draw the poster for an Elton John concert that's happening in his neck of the woods.
Oh, fantastic!
Yep. All right, moving ahead here a little bit. Let's go with Blind Alley, perhaps, on page 287. Behemoth Blind Alley. It's a 5-part series as Jesus returns to the neighborhood where he grew up, a civilian suburban neighborhood where violence and the constant struggle against life's adversaries meet. His goal is to resume his relationship with Irene, his former girlfriend, and start a project together. With the help of Faye, his childhood friend, he tries to escape crime and marginalization, carving a niche for himself in the world of work and in society. But Vargas, the exalted brother of Faye, fans the flame of something that has been cooking for a long time. On sale May 11th, page 287, Blind Alley. On page 289, also out of Behemoth, Pop Star Assassin Volume 1 is collected here. And I'll just say this. The year is 1977. The king is dead. Long live the king.
Oh, wow.
Yep. When a mysterious briefcase turns up in his dressing room, Bruce, a coke-addled Elvis impersonator, finds himself wedged between a mob boss out to avenge the death of his only son and a government conspiracy with far-reaching, world-ending ramifications, all in an attempt to discover the true identity of his father's killer. So this has me. Oh, boy. Yep.
That's several different flavors of crazy there, and I love the
better
cover.
believe it.
It's like a period movie poster. That's Smart packaging there.
It is indeed. Yep, that's 100 pages of action there. As Volume 1 sets in only at $14.99 before any sort of discounts on page 289. Pop Star Assassin. $292. Here's a name I haven't heard in a while. Justin Gray. He's got Billy the Kit, Volume 1. The Wild West has never been wilder. Introducing Billy the Kit, a gunslinging rabbit seeking revenge against the tornado god that killed his family. And Justin Gray, known for many a collaboration with Jimmy Palmiotti over the years.
All right.
And as Jonah Hex, along with Barry McLean Jr. here, spin this yarn about this cowboy rabbit on page 292. Go over to page 300, shall we? Cassidy's Secret. Charles Holland and art and cover by Antonio Fuso. When a comet lands on Earth, it brings a child who will become Earth's most powerful hero. It also brings an ultravirus that bestows powers to a select genetically predisposed few. Those with superpowers invoke fear and awe. Some become celebrities, others become scapegoats. Who will defend the powered few when they seek to cage and or control them? It's like an interesting take on the whole, predisposition power idea, and mutants and all that stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
With,
and throwing a Superman analog into the middle of it all too.
Indeed, yep. Advance solicited for June 29th on page 300. This feels like it may have been something that Chris would have pointed out had he been along with us here on page 301. The Continental OP. Noir at its finest, lavishly illustrated by John K. Snyder III. Collection of the first 5 stories in Hammett's series of shorts, including Arson Plus, Crooked Souls, Slippery Fingers, It, and Bodies Piled Up. The op investigates arson, kidnapping, murder, and theft, defining the hard-boiled detective character Hammett would later pattern for his best-known character, Sam Spade. This is presented here in Clover Press's prestige hardcover format, along with 10 illustrated art pieces by John K. Snyder III. Continental Op is sure to thrill any mystery fan. Page 301.
Dashiell Hammett, classic stuff.
Indeed. Let's say we on Jaeger out of Fair Square Comics by Ibrahim Mustafa, that is, on page 312, where fiction meets reality, where ordinary people living extraordinary adventures. Here come Classified Jaeger from Spy Comics mastermind Ibrahim Mustafa. Haunted by the torture he endured in a Nazi POW camp during World War II, French-Algerian spy Idris Morel is hell-bent on exacting revenge against his captors. Tasked by MI6 to hunt down escaped Nazi war criminals with falsified death certificates. With the official sanction of a government colleague, Morel embarks on a one-man espionage mission to ensure the escapees are brought to justice. This sounds straight like this sounds like it's already should be a TV series, to be honest with you. It's not too far from the one that's on Amazon Plus that had Al Pacino in it not too long ago. Page 312, Classified Jaeger, Volume 1 in softcover. That's right up my alley. Any fan of Peanuts, the complete Peanuts, 1983 to 1984? Oh, hey, I was born that year. Is available on page 315.
Yep, volume 17 in a series.
Yep. Many more to come, I'm sure. Page 318, Lance Stanton, Wayward Warrior. That looks like so old school, just even from the cover there. That's what immediately drew my eye to it. James McNaughton and David Bamford have that one for us here. It just looks old school more than anything else. Out of Floating World Comics.
Solicit claims it's an obscure DIY gem from 1989.
Okay.
So, self-published, obviously, unless they're just making that whole thing up and this is a brand new character just modeled on, self-published zine comics of the late 80s.
Right. Could be either, but I guess you're going to have to find out. Graphic Monday on page 324 has Jacob's Apartment. Coming of age graphic novel about the struggles of young adulthood seen through the prism of two roommates, Jacob and Sarah, as they seek to find their place in the world. Nice slice of life comic there out of Graphic Monday. 24. Page 343, we have Boot Black by McHale. That's the writer and artist of this one. It's the spring of 1945, and the war leaves only death and destruction in its wake. To escape the horror of the present, Al, an American soldier, the only survivor of his unit, immerses himself in the memories of his New York life. Son of German immigrants born in the United States, he was not yet 10 years old. In one night, under the approving eyes of anti-immigrant Americans, he lost his parents and his home in a terrible fire. Turning his back on his origins, Al has no choice but to live on the streets. He becomes a bootblack, a shoe shiner. New York offers no future for the poor. Al understands that. He's therefore determined to earn more money, whatever the means. But he does not imagine at this point that the war which threatens will soon give him an appointment with his past. Yeah, nice wartime story being told there on the streets of New York in the 1940s. Page 343 out of NBM. And for something literally completely different on page 346, I believe we mentioned this when it was originally solicited in individuals, but Space Trash Volume 1 is available out of Oni this month in full color hardcover. 96 pages in stores on July 6th. Written, illustrated, lettered, and cover by Jen Woodall. Taking place in the year 2115 for some space trash action.
Juvenile delinquents in space. Our three heroines are named Yuki, Una, and Stab.
A Powerpuff Girls for a new generation.
Kinda, yeah.
Yep, 346 and 347 on that one. And then 348. Don't forget to make a wish. This is a birthday cake. Written by Andrew Cangelose and illustrated by Josh Shipley. It's Taco the Squirrel's birthday, and all of his little animal friends are planning a big surprise for him. They're going to make him a birthday cake. The only problem with their plan is that none of them know how to bake a cake. And hilarity ensues.
Yep. Looks like it's a sequel to This is a Squirrel, check that, Taco, on the facing page. Reoffered.
Nice.
If you're curious about Frazetta's Death Dealer coming back to comics, as teased by the spine of this catalog, you can find out more on pages 354 and 355. Publisher called Opus is bringing Death Dealer back here.
Yes, indeed.
Creative team Mitch Iverson and Stefano Martino, with a cover by Sal's pal Simone Bianchi.
Very nice. Just in time for baseball on page 356. Buzzy Baseball 3-in-1, Volume 1, Triple Play Graphic Novels. Looks like some good fun for the kiddos there and for everybody involving the hijinks behind robots and baseball.
Yep. Robots and ninjas and anthropomorphic animals. All of them playing America's pastime together.
Yep, I think the dinosaur just got signed by the Yankees, but I'm not entirely sure.
If they haven't reached the salary cap yet, that is.
Yes. Now, 358. This plays to all of my strengths right here. I have always been a fan of knockoff action figures. And Plaid Stallions Press is printing knockoffs, totally unauthorized action figures, volume 1. It's a celebration of the bootleg figure, the copyright infringing silliness meant to fool our grand people. Subjects range from toys of the 60s to the 2000s and includes every popular genre: superheroes, sci-fi, horror, TV, movies, 80s toy lines, you name it. It's over 100 pages of toy lines with names like Galaxy Warriors, Turley Gang, Nightmare Fetty, and Big Fella. I think I'm adding this to my wish list to be bought for my next birthday. This is completely my bag. I still love. I was in a mall not too long ago, and I saw some of the best knockoff Squid Game figures on the shelf at one of the toy stores in the mall, and I'm like, hey, there's no way that is real.
Yeah, this is kind of irresistible. I gotta agree.
Yep. Page 358, knockoffs, totally unauthorized action figures. All right. Anything before tomorrow, sir?
I don't think so. Not on my end.
Okay. Then I will mention in passing on page 365 out of Red Lightning Books, Batman's Batman, a memoir from Hollywood. It's Michael Uslan's memoir for that, who we basically have to thank for the Batman movies in general. Executive producer of the Batman movie franchise since '89, offers an insider's look at Hollywood and then the process of how movies and television shows go from drawing board to your screens. This is a full biography of Michael Uslan's life, and it's reveals the 13 qualities essential to would-be producers as well. So well worth a read if you're interested in behind the scenes of movie making, and if you yourself are looking to make something, it might be worth your while too on page 365.
Just found something on page 368 as you're scrolling past there from Silver Sprocket. It's a graphic novel called Mr. Boop, written and drawn by Alex Robbins, and it's a fictionalized autobiography in which the creator, Mr. Robbins himself, has married 1930s cartoon icon Betty Boop. And so it's this fictionalized, gritty romance tale about these two making their marriage work despite interference from other famous cartoon characters, intellectual property lawyers, and Alex's own towering insecurities.
Oh, that's fun.
Really interesting idea.
Oh yeah. I could also easily see it turning into like one of those like 50-cent indie movies, like ones that like with absolutely no budget behind them, like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit for the indie crowd. Like that could easily be the case.
Yeah, kind of a grindhouse version of that.
Exactly. Yeah. Very cool. Page 368. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Ultramax looks interesting. They're on page 372.
It does.
Coming out from Source Point Press by Doug Wood, Michael Pickard, and also Michael Pickard. Michael Pickard co-writes and is the artist. And it's a story about a random henchman in a world of heroes and villains who gets lucky one day and kills a prominent superhero in his reality. And he gets remanded to... He works with the feds, but then he gets remanded to an Ultramax prison, basically the Vault or the Raft or Bell Rev, just a prison for supervillains. And he's a new fish thrown in here, and it's generally known that he's a snitch. And how does he survive amongst a bunch of bloodthirsty supervillains, knowing that A, he's killed a prominent hero in this world, and many of the people in this prison wanted to do that themselves, and B, he turned evidence to the feds. So if you're a fan of supervillain thug life, this is we'll probably have something for you. It's $3.99, 32-page standard comic.
Yep. And speaking of which, if you haven't checked out Super Crooks on Netflix, that's a pretty good animated series with a somewhat similar premise. Definitely different execution, but well worth your time, especially if you're into that universe. That was Mark Miller's Jupiter's Legacy universe.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's a fine anime, which is now, I believe, also being turned into a live-action series at some point.
Add that to the ever-growing list of Netflix content that I would like one day to see.
Indeed. Yep. How about 376, My Brother Teddy by Jaromir Francois and pencils and inks by Todor Christoph. Remember when you were a kid, lost in your imagination with your toys scattered across the floor? You with your favorite toy, maybe it was a cowboy, an action figure, a doll, or a teddy bear. Doesn't matter which one you had, because we've all felt that unbreakable bond that a kid has with their favorite toy. What if that bond was tested? What if the bond was so strong the toy took on a life of its own to leap into hell with the hope of returning you home? Fascinating.
Wow. Teddy bear turned savior.
Yeah.
And, more interesting still, the story is told without dialogue.
Yep. Entirely visual. Yep. So let's see how well they pull it off there on page 376.
Yep. Self-contained one-shot story, My Brother Teddy.
I'm not even really going to mention anything past this, but I love this. I love this title for this John Wick thing on page 380 by St. Martin's Press. They shouldn't have killed his dog. The complete uncensored history of John Wick. Like, that's, I agree entirely. Big mistake. You shouldn't have touched his dog. Enough said.
That's universal. I mean, especially in John Wick's case. But anyone who owns a dog, you should not kill that dog.
Yes, it's 100%. You're not going to like what happens to you. Page 387. Vuz. Writer and artist is Philippe Droulet. The next incredible installment in the library of award-winning master comics creator Philippe Droulet. Vuz is a warrior, a looter who has simple needs in life: to fight, to eat, and to make love. I feel like Arnold Schwarzenegger said that in the movie. Vuz lives in a world where ruined cities are home to zombies, giant rabbits, and salacious wizards.
All right.
Man, that artwork.
Some heavy metal style sword and sorcery happening there.
You better believe it. Out of Titan Books. It's, ooh, boy. That's some prettiness right there.
And now the all-important Tomorrows section.
Indeed.
Pages 391 and 392. Yeah, it's a great theme for the May issue of Back Issue Magazine, 137.
Yep.
1980s pre-crisis DC miniseries. We've got a Green Arrow cover here by Trevor Von Eden and Dick Giordano. They're going to be talking about the Green Arrow miniseries from the 80s. Also, Tales of the Green Lantern Corps, The Krypton Chronicles, America versus the JSA, Legend of Wonder Woman, Conqueror of the Barren Earth. I assume Camelot 3000 will be in there too.
Yeah.
Featuring Mike W. Barr, author of Camelot 3000, Kurt Busiek, Paul Kupperberg, Ron Randall, Trina Robbins, Joe Staten, Kurt Swan, Roy Thomas, and other creators.
Wow. That's... Ooh, boy. Yep, that's some 80s goodness right there.
Yep, lots of great stories about which I would like to learn some more background info. And so that's a place to go.
Yep. And then
a real exciting book then at the top of page 392.
You better believe it.
Another one of Tomorrow's series of companion softcover books, just fact-filled compendia. This one is compiled by the editor of Back Issue and Retro Fan magazines, Michael Urey. It's the Team Up Companion, which examines team-up comics of the Silver and Bronze Ages DC's Brave and the Bold, and DC Comics Presents, and World's Finest, Marvel's Marvel Team-Up and Marvel 2-in-1, plus other team-up titles, treasuries, and treats, in a lushly illustrated selection of informative essays, special features, and trivia-loaded issue-by-issue indices. Marvelous. Yes, I'm telling you right now, our friend Eric Nolan Wethington, who is an editor at Tomorrow's Publishing, he usually sees to it that we get preview and promo copies of all this stuff that they publish.
Mm-hmm.
When our free copy of this rolls into the studio, it will be disappearing just as soon as I can get in there and make it disappear.
Yes.
Because I love me some Bronze Age team-up stories.
Oh,
And
certainly.
I know I communicated this disease to Pants, too, because when we were going to conventions on the regular, he snapped up, in record time, complete runs of Marvel Team-Up and Marvel 2-in-1.
Very good. It's like they wrote this for you, man.
Yep, maybe I should pick up an extra copy and slip it to Pants next time I see him.
There you go. Yep. Now, the World of Tomorrow softcover, is that a resolicit or is that new? Because that looks pretty cool too.
Huh.
Yeah.
I don't-
1994, amidst the boom and bust comic book speculators, Kirby Collector #1 was published for the true fans of the medium. And then that modest labor of love spawned Tomorrow's Publishing. And this celebrates 25 years of Tomorrow's, all in one celebratory book with a foreword by Alex Ross and an afterword by Paul Levitz.
All right. If you read the fine print on the cover, it says celebrating 25 years of the future of fandom.
There you go.
So just add that to 1994. That gives you that this was published in 2019. So
Yep.
Not a new publication, but still one worth a look for anyone who's enjoyed their fine family of fan-friendly publications. As a matter of fact, I think Pants and I might have been at Heroes Con the year that they announced this.
That's possible. Yeah. Well, very good. And if you haven't checked it out, now is definitely a time to do so. Archer and Armstrong Forever on page 395. As the return of Archer and Armstrong is brought forth by Steve Fox and Marcelo Fiorito, as one of Valiant's more well-known titles gets a new lease on life on page 395. And then I head into the world of manga.
Yep, I don't think there's any obstacles to that at this point.
Excellent.
Home free.
Okay, so there we go. Okay, good. I was waiting for it. Now I knew I was safe. that I saw that Mob Psycho ad, I know I'm safe and I can keep going.
Yes, all is right and yet wrong in the world.
Exactly, all at the same time. Page 423, a featured item. One that I'm trying to remember. Did you guys ever do a book of the month on Death Note?
We definitely did.
Okay.
Yeah, that was one of our manga selections.
That's what I thought. Yeah, because Death Note is easily one of my favorite manga that I've ever read. It's also got a great anime adaptation, and even the live action movies are pretty good. They're not great, but they're pretty good. The Japanese ones, the American one is garbage.
I'm sure.
The American one has a decent ending, and then everything before it just falls flat completely. Book of the Month Club on Death Note covered the first 2 volumes back in May 31st, 2006. That's how long ago that Book of the Month was.
Wow. Yeah, that explains why I didn't personally remember having read it, because I wasn't back from grad school yet.
There you
So
go.
I had not fully joined the cast. I definitely did not participate in that one.
Yep. Well, this one on page 423 brings us Death Note short stories. It's a complete collection of Death Note short stories penned by the series creators. Discover tales of lives irrevocably changed by the sinister influence of the Death Note, but surprising and thrilling answers to the question of what it truly takes to use the Death Note or fight it. Contains stories C. Kira, A. Kira, the Death Note pilot chapter, vignettes of L's life, and more. And this will include the never published in print Akira story, which was released online in 2020, which was the first Death Note story told since the Death Note story's conclusion. And I may have to own this because I have all the other volumes of Death Note sitting on my shelf, so this is going to have to be a part of that. Methinks. So
Sure.
here we go. Yep.
Completism demands it.
Darn tootin'. Yep. Page 423 for that one. Okay. Here we go. 425, baby. 0 customers, a naked young lady, and an armed militia. It's just another post-apocalypse day for this food truck owner. Crazy food truck.
Yeah, that is exactly the right way to read a title that's presented in that font.
You better believe it. It's all about a guy named Gordon. I'm sure they named him that on purpose since it's about gruff middle-aged cook running a food truck in a sand-covered wasteland. When he encounters Arisa, a naked girl sleeping in the middle of nowhere, he takes on the unintended traveling companion and her unexpected appetite. Too bad she also has unexpected baggage, an army militia hot on her tail. This sounds ridiculous.
It's like Mad Max, the cooking manga. It does sound like your cup of tea.
Yes, all of my sensibilities here. It's described on this page as Planes, Trains, and Automobiles meets Mad Max. Like, done. Just mail it to me now. Rokuro Ogaki is the artist on this. Page 425. Crazy food truck. Thank you. All right, and I'll gather together a couple more in passing here. Star Wars: The High Republic, The Edge of Balance, Volume 2 on page 429. For any of you who are looking for some more Star Wars manga action, there that is. And let me grab one more out of the pile of manga thrown here. Here we are. The Men Who Created Gundam, a graphic novel on page 438 out of, I believe, Denpa. Yep. It's about the animators of Gundam, and the story behind what became one of the most favorite and famous anime series of our time. It's honestly, like this type of stuff doesn't come along very often, and this gives you a behind the scenes look of what became a cultural icon in Japan, and for many a reader of manga, it's synonymous with quality. Many series over the years involving Gundam, and the Men Who Created Gundam on page 438. If you want to learn more, this is where you're going to do it. Good stuff. And I'm calling it. Unless you have some random toys that you want to mock me with.
I will spare you the mockery this time, Ian. I actually didn't notice anything in the swag half of the book this time.
Good. Because I don't have the money to spend on it.
So if you're calling it, consider it called.
All right, excellent. I will just mention real quick that on page M73, there's a Spider-Man head toaster. And that's all I have to say about that.
Yep, which burns other images of Spider-Man's head into whatever slices of bread you insert into it.
That's exactly how I want to have my sandwiches, with Spider-Man's head burned into them. All right, well, that's that. Bolt shot. Job well done all around. And this crew of 3 for a while, 2 for the end, still managed to put out a 2.5-hour episode of previews. So you are welcome, fair listeners.
Yeah, it's really closer to 3 hours. And as you said earlier, Ian, you always say it's not going to be that long this time, and it's always exactly as long.
I'm sorry to tell you, Murd, we love comics, and we love them too much.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to that, we are wordy bitches. It's just...
That too. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we wrap up here, thanking you as always for being contributors to the show over at patreon.com/comicgeekspeak. We wouldn't do this without you, and we couldn't do this without you. So thank you so much for that support in any way, shape, or form you happen to give it. We're happy to have you out there, and we thank you immensely. And with that, the Shane seat is now being taken by the Murd.
Okay, I'm ready to be Shane. If you'd like to send us an email, the address is comicgeekspeak@gmail.com. If you'd like to leave a voicemail, you do have that option. The number to call is 267-702-6642. You can like us on Facebook, and you can also join our Comic Geek Speak Super group where you can talk back about all these different episodes of the show we release, and also engage in unrelated comics discussions with your fellow listeners and Facebook users. You can follow us on Twitter, where our handle is @ComicGeekSpeak. You can visit thecomicforums.vanillacommunity.com, which is our original online forum, where you can also leave us feedback and just say hello to your fellow listeners and friends there. We give special thanks, again, as always, to those of you who have donated monetarily to the show, either recently or in the distant past, through Patreon or other means. We truly appreciate it. The show would not be what it is today without your help. Oh, and don't forget to hit up youtube.com/comicgeekspeak to watch video versions of most of our recent episodes, including the previews ones. It really does help a little bit with the experience when you can see the images provided by Ian scrolling past as you listen along. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.
We are wordy bitches, yeah.